Hello and welcome to the inaugural Gen G takeover at the University of Kentucky. The campus takeover is a 2-day event that supports Kentucky and its surrounding regions. Today's broadcast, of course, features the return of the University of Kentucky Invitational, where teams from Halo and Valorant will be competing for over $4,000 in prizes, which is incredible. But let me tell you something, nothing would be possible without our sponsors. We got Kinetic by Windstorm, University of Kentucky Federal Credit Union, which they're actually live right now in the Esports Lounge. We've got UConnect, UPS Jobs, the presenting sponsor On-Site Career Fair, which is awesome. I wish I had one of those when I was in school. And the Tax Act, who's supporting the panel on the new grad financial situation. Of course, with me, I've got two amazing people. We've got Wenboba and Elumite. I'm going to have them introduce themselves, starting with Wenboba. Wenboba, why don't you tell the people who you are? I think you're muted at the moment. That's all right. Well, we can start with Elumite real quick. Elumite, why don't you tell the people, of course, the U.S. champion in Halo. Tell the people who you are. Give them a little bit of a history of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've been around in the scene for a long time. I was a professional gamer beginning back in 2005 for Halos 2 and Halo 3 through Reach. I'm actually from Kentucky, so this one definitely hits home a little bit more. Been following University of Kentucky and things that they've done for a long, long time. I live in LA now for the last 5 years, but up until that point, I was in Kentucky the whole time. So I'm the coach of Space Station Gaming, Halo Infinite team. We're heading over to Charlotte in a few days for the very first major of Season 2. And really excited. So happy to be able to be a part of another event leading into that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. We've got, of course, collegiate esports here at the University of Kentucky. Like I said, back in my day, I wish we had collegiate esports. I wish esports were supported as much as they are nowadays, which is absolutely fantastic. And Wenboba, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself, how you came to start gaming, and just a little history on you.
Yeah. So I think I actually got into gaming because of COVID, as you know.
Might still be muted.
Oh my gosh.
Not sure. Kyle, I don't know if you can hear Wenboba.
I cannot. I'm doing my best lip sync reading, but I'm not able to pick it all up.
Okay. I'm getting word that Wenboba is good. I apologize for interrupting. I can't hear you, which kind of stinks because I would love to hear your history. But you can tell the people, and then I'll kind of watch your lips and see when you stop. All right, it looks like she will be right back. It looks like they're having just some Discord issues. I guess you guys can hear her, but us on Discord cannot. But Elumite, we'll talk a little bit about today and kind of what we've got. So we've got 2 games today, which is incredible. We've got Halo to start, and then we're going to be back a little bit later with some Valorant as well. And of course, Halo. This has kind of gone to a little bit of a bracket play. Essentially, the teams played for seeding yesterday. And then today will be the bracket play. And we're going to start with winners round 1, Miami versus Ohio Christian. Now, something really interesting about this is the fact that we don't know too much about these players, right? At least I don't. So it's going to be interesting to see the different play styles and just kind of, where these players are in terms of their Halo career, essentially. Maybe, maybe they're, just starting out, or maybe they've competed for a while, and we'll kind of, they were competing for a good amount of prizes. So we'll kind of see where these guys are at. I don't know too much about either one of these teams. And again, after, countless time and you coaching a professional team in Space Station Gaming and, all of your years in Halo, professional Halo, you've seen different play styles, and you've seen kind of players rise from the, the beginning of where they start to where they end up. We've seen a lot of players in Halo that have been around for a very long time. Like, for instance, APG is one of them that kind of comes to mind for me. I remember playing with him back in the day. He started out, not so good, kind of like this FFA player with no brain, we'll say, with just, kind of holding forward. And now he's ended up being this very intelligent player. So I'm sure you'll be able to see some trends, Kyle, in these players, and it's kind of, be able to tell where they're at in their career.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really excited to see where Kentucky and Ohio kind of stand now in Halo Infinite, with all the new support that we're having in the region. Like when I was in school, a very long time ago at this point now, we did not have the kind of support. And I was traveling to events, having to work with teachers,
Wow.
sending emails when I'm gone, trying to reschedule tests if I'm not going to be able to make it because I'm traveling across the country competing in these tournaments.
It's crazy.
The Kentucky, Ohio, Midwest region right there has been extremely strong in Halo since the beginning. I don't know if people recognize, or if you haven't followed the scene since the early first Halo days, the original Halo CE, some of the best players of all time are from the Columbus region, Cincinnati area, and over towards Indianapolis as well. So this has been extremely strong. Local events I would travel to, Lexington as well. So I'm from Northern Kentucky originally, but I've been to events down, in Lexington and around that area. So to see all these schools participating, I was on my school's StarCraft 2 team in college as well.
Really?
Yeah, but that was
awesome.
We didn't have any other games. That was the only game, and it was just a small group of people participating in it. So to see where it's come now and to be able to be a part of it too is really exciting.
That's awesome. Wemboba, welcome back. I can't wait to hear. There you are. I can't wait to hear a little bit about your history. Like, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got into gaming and all of that stuff.
Yeah, of course. So I'm a sophomore here at the University of Kentucky, and to be honest, I don't think I've played games for as long as some of the people here might have. I got into it because of COVID mainly. Obviously, when you're home on Zoom class, you're gonna have to kill your time doing some other stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got into League of Legends for like a year or so. Yeah.
Yep. Love that.
All my friends played, so that was just the go-to for the whole year. And then recently I've started expanding. I'm playing Valorant now and just getting into some other mobile games. And I've recently been trying to get more, more in touch with the university esports scene and whatnot. So,
well, yeah, casually calling us old. Kyle, we're old. We're old men. Okay, we've been around for too long. But I love that, COVID was such a horrible thing, obviously, just a terrible thing in general, but a lot of positives came out of it. And I think someone entering into gaming is a huge positive. Now, League of Legends, that's a rough one to start off with, I will say myself. But regardless, that's awesome that you're kind of expanding. I actually, I played Valorant when the beta came out. I think it was 2 years ago now. Oh my gosh, time flies. And I've, recently got back into it. I'll be casting some Valorant later on today, but that's awesome. Very, very excited. With Halo, I know, Wemboba, I know you said you don't know too much about Halo. Let me tell you something. This guy on the other end of you and me, I mean, we'll fill your brain with Halo knowledge. You will be a Halo professional by the end of the broadcast today, just due to the fact that we've been in there for a long time. Now, of course, Kyle has many, many, many more, prestigious, things under his belt. But regardless, we both watched many matches of Halo. I'm very excited. So this is a double elimination tournament. Like I said, we are in bracket play so far today, and very, very excited to see kind of like what maps are going to be played. There's a lot of changes to Halo that have happened recently. Some not so great, especially before Charlotte. For instance, so we got this this thing called an oddball, Wemboba, and essentially you can throw the oddball to kind of rotate. So you think about it like a rotation out of a site in Valorant. You kind of rotate out of the around the map to kind of make sure that with the enemy team pushing one side, you're rotating through the other side. Well, the ball decided to eat too much, and now it weighs 3,000 pounds. And we can't throw it the way we used to. So a couple little bugs that are in the game that have been kind of weird, but I know that we're gonna go on like most of the HCS maps. Detachment actually might be in. It's to be decided. We'll see if that makes it in the pool. Detachment, just to give you a little history, is essentially a map that is only in ranked play. It is not an HCS play. So very interesting to see if these teams have practiced that map. And well, it's one of those maps where personally I don't like it too much, but I also didn't like another map called Catalyst. This map Catalyst was added and then kind of removed later on, but people started to like it as they played it. So what I'm thinking is maybe Detachment might be one of those. Kyle, let me ask you, what do you think of the map Detachment? Like, where is your mind on Detachment as a map? Being in this tournament or being in ranked play in general. I think you're muted. I think.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted there.
It's okay.
I mean, my
it's
mind fits with the map name, right? It's kind of detached. I agree with you a little bit. It's definitely not maybe the strongest the map that we have in the ranked within HCS alone in the ranked playlist. There's not an absorbent amount of different maps to use, so I don't mind having some of those additional ones in the playlist.
I agree.
Playing it in a grand finals is definitely one thing, but it's still a fun map to be had. It's just for the most part, it is a symmetrical map. You've got 2 sniper rifles on it, lots of different equipment and other power weapons to use. Whenever you have that kind of combination, you can make for some exciting games.
I love that too. I love that they've implemented Argyle as another 2 sniper map, which, the pro community is kind of split on as well. I would say it's like an 80-20 split. 80% of them don't like Argyle either. But like you said, I like the 2 sniper type maps because it provides for that 1v1 exciting gameplay that we had back in Halo 3 on the pit. You're a big fan of that. Now, Wemboba, I know that you just got into gaming. Have you been able to watch any Halo as of recent? Have you dabbled a little bit or maybe just checked it out recently? Or are you completely new to the Halo scene?
So the day before this, my friend sent me a video that was called Top 20 Best Halo Plays of All Time. So I watched that.
Awesome. That is a great entrance. Let me tell you, I would say in Halo Infinite, that is one of the incredible things about Halo is just, they call it the dance, right? It's those plays that, you're in a 1v3 situation. Valorant has these as well, but in Halo, it's like the time to kill is a lot slower. So it takes a longer time to kill, but it provides for this outplay. It provides for, if someone shoots you once, you can turn around and 4-shot them. Just so you know, like in Halo, with the battle rifle, it's 4 shots to kill. Obviously Valorant, it's 1 headshot. So it's a very different type of pacing, different type of style. And we'll see how that kind of comes into play here. It looks like we will be getting into our first match very, very shortly. And I'm seeing here that the very first map, game number 1, is going to be Capture the Flag on Empyrean. Now, Wemboba, this is a map that us old men love. Okay, this is a remake of The Pit. Now, The Pit was a map from 2007 when Halo 3 came out. They remade it for Halo Infinite. So like, us guys that have been around for a while, we absolutely love this map. Kyle, I want to know what you think of Empyrean as a remake. Does it fit Halo Infinite? Did they scale it well enough? What do you think?
So when we run into Empyrean, which is the remake of The Pit, which is why you keep seeing us refer to it that way, it does function like you would in some of the older Halos. Empyrean CTF, I think, is maybe a little bit stronger of a map and game type than Empyrean Slayer, mainly because of the way the spawn system works on the map. So, of course, this is going into like much more in-depth game knowledge kind of into Halo Infinite. But you are forced spawn on one side of the map. The whole map doesn't open up for spawns like it would on most Slayer maps. So it can definitely allow for teams to get you on kind of what would be referred to as like a spawn cycle and constantly be killing you, build up these monstrous leads. It makes for some epic comebacks and matches as well, where you see teams down by 10 or 15 kills come back and win. Empyrean CTF, though, is fun. The map itself has been adjusted to fit more of the Halo Infinite playstyle. A lot of the faster movements, some of the map areas have been opened up further to allow for more just overall kind of map surface area and play area. So no, it's a fun one and one I think most people enjoy at this point.
Yeah, so just to touch on what Elobite said when it comes to Slayer. So essentially in the Slayer, we have something called dynamic spawns, where a team can spawn on either side of the map. A map like Aquarius, if you'll hear this name, I'm sure later on, has dynamic spawns, whereas a map like Empyrean has static spawns. So no matter what, you spawn on one side of the map and that's it. So what happens is and you'll hear this term used a lot, Winboba, is the sandbox. So the sandbox is essentially all the toys we have to play with in the game, the rockets, the snipers, the repulse. Repulse is like an equipment that you can use. And when a team has full control of the sandbox, all the weapons, plus they've got you on a spawn trap, meaning you're spawning in one area of the map and they know exactly where you're spawning because it's either one side or the other side, you're in trouble. So essentially, on Empyrean Slayer, it comes down to not making any mistakes. And I'm sure you know this in Valorant. If you're the first to die in Valorant, that's pretty much an entire setup break. For the enemy team, they can get in your base, plant the spike, and that's it. So it's pretty much the same in Halo. It'll spiral out of control. So on this first map, it's going to be CTF. We're not doing Slayer. Slayer will be game number 2 as it usually is, but CTF is also going to be a very important map when it comes to controlling the sandbox. Like I said, you're going to hear that word a lot. I love to use that word because it is one of the most important things in the game. All of these weapons have spawn timers, and essentially you have to fight and position yourself correctly so that you can get these weapons when they spawn up. So you'll see a lot of teams kind of set up around the weapons as they spawn, and 30 seconds before the weapon spawns, you'll see a little indicator. So that indicator will come up, and then you'll start to see teams kind of force their way around, around that weapon. So very, very excited to see that. I don't know exactly. So let's kind of go to game number 2. So game number 2 is Slayer Recharge. That's going to be a Slayer game type recharge. One of my favorite maps. It actually got removed from matchmaking recently due to a bug. So we're not going to see it till season 3. And
we'll see it at Charlotte.
Well, but we will see it at Charlotte. We won't see it in ranked. So that's a good thing. But enough talking about Halo. We're going to go to a quick little break real fast. We'll get back to you as soon as possible when the game launches. Thank you so much for watching. Again, hit that follow button and be involved. We've got a lot of gameplay today.
Okay, they're standing there. They're showing some emotes. I guess we're gonna be happy. Spinning.
Oh, these are so precious. Oh, they're feeding the Poro.
Oh, that's what matters.
Yeah, that was the second game.
We're switching up. The Ari.
Got any of that was under the tower.
Yeah, definitely some good retaliation are still coming out. That empowered Q from Karma, and the root is gonna hit. First one is actually gonna go over to Zyra, and that will be an ace. Clear the wave. Probably. So in the previous games, we had the players. The root lands, and the ultimate's gonna come out, and that will be first blood.
Boom. Now they do have 32 minions. Still quite far. Look at that wall again.
Okay, the root
it's the
again,
wall.
and
That's the ult, and there we go. Second kill coming in from Mizu.
Also, really unfortunate here is that they almost got both of them. Right? That's so low. Morgana's 5 HP, and it was repeated yet again.
Yeah, but look at that, just inside of turret range.
We just like got Seraphim ultimate immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the Lux actually is a little bit more healed. They are gonna stun.
Oh no!
There's a lot of damage, but the first blood is gonna go towards the Orianna, and now that she is charmed, and the Dark Binding is a little bit wide, it will be
that is
team
ace. And the champion for this League of Legends 2v2 will be SNG.
And they're doing their ritual again?
That's gonna be Dimension with the Cosmic Divide. Oh no, but Cad's oh, so it's 4v4 for the retake. I thought he was gonna sure. At least Melissa is able to follow up with it. The three players, 14 blocks walking on the outside. Where are they going nuts? Coming out victorious in that engagement. And like that, Blaze left
from behind
players.
Okay, so Nikki was able to get that pick from behind.
Last player standing.
Run it back, but whoa.
Oh my gosh, thank you for our amazing team. Like, I love our Jet. She's by far the best Jet I've ever seen in the world. Thank you to our Phoenix. She is the craziest Sentry Fragger ever. Thank you to our Killjoy and Sage Mix. Thank you for being the best Sentinel ever. We honestly have such a strong team. Thank you for Sova for being like the best lineup person, post clans, amazing. Like, I love Team Blossom. Like, we've come so far. So thank you so much for having us here and having us compete in this tournament.
Okay, they're standing there. They're showing some emotes. I guess we're gonna be happy. Spinning.
Oh, these are so precious. Oh, they're feeding the Poro.
Oh, that's what matters.
Yeah, that was the second game.
We're switching up. The Ari.
Got any of that was under the tower.
Yeah, definitely some good retaliation are still coming out. That empowered Q from Karma, and the root is gonna hit. First one is actually gonna go over to Zyra, and that will be an ace. Clear the wave. So in the previous games, we had the player. The root lands, and the ultimate's gonna come out, and that will be first blood.
Ooh. Now they do have 30.
Welcome back to the University of Kentucky Gen G Takeover. My name is Active. I've got Wemboba and Elamite Warrior here, and it looks like we're getting into our very first match and game of the morning. Of course, we've got Miami versus Ohio Christian, and game number 1 is going to be Empyrean Flag, Empyrean CTF. And of course, this is Halo Infinite. For those of you guys that don't know, we will be having Valorant later on today. So if you're a Valorant fan, make sure you stick around for that. I'm very excited for both of these games today. Again, we've talked a little bit about Halo in general, and let's get into like the pro scene kind of stuff. How are you feeling, Elamite, in terms of SSG going into Charlotte? Are you feeling comfortable? Space Station Gaming, of course, they didn't place outside of the top 2 in all of HCS LAN events last season. How are you feeling going into season 2 with the first event?
I'm really excited that the off season's over. It's been a long one.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've all been waiting to get back into games. Our team is incredible, like you said, is a success all year long.
Mm-hmm.
The game has changed a lot, from then till now. So besides the updates that just came 2 days ago, right, with red stack on different weapons, so power weapon control is going to change a lot. Ball flag running, things like that is going to have to be worked around with some of the challenges that we have within the game.
Oh yeah,
there's new maps being added to the mix and things like that. The competition has increased drastically, I think, since last season as well. Some really strong new teams involved. So there's a lot to prep for, a lot to be ready for. Definitely very little prep time considering some of the changes that have come to both the maps and the way that the power weapons function. So, definitely really excited for it. But, definitely need to put in the work and be fully prepped.
Absolutely. It's going to, like I said before, it's going to be very exciting to kind of see these teams today and just see what level they're at, right? Like see maybe a team like this goes to one of the HCS events this year and can perform pretty well. Of course, the HCS events this year are only, they're only allowing 4 teams from the open bracket to advance to pool play. If you're familiar with pool play, there's 4 groups of pools and 4 in each pool. So that's kind of it's basically kind of minimizing what's allowed to advance. And you're essentially, Wemboba, I'm talking to you, like when you're kind of competing in these events and you're traveling all the way to an event like this, you're going to pay for flight, you're going to pay for hotel if you don't have a sponsor. I'm sure Kyle can attest to this in the very beginning of his career, and you're paying for all this stuff to go to an event, and then you have to place within the top 4 of the open bracket to even advance even further. So very crazy. But here we go. You see the SSG Spartan with the teabag. We had a little bit of this at the SSG Snowdown. I'm glad it's back, but here it is, Empyrean CTF. And of course, we got a tri-cast going on here. This is definitely unconventional, but it's going to be a great time because when Boba's learning about Halo, and we, both me and Elamite can definitely teach anyone that's watching as well that wants to get into Halo Infinite coming here in this season. So once again, CTF is the first game type, and of course, you've got to take the enemy flag, bring it all the way to your base, and score it, but just know that if your flag is out, so if your base, your flag is out, so the enemy has pulled your flag, you cannot cap the flag. So you've got to return your flag to your base first, which means you sit on it for a couple, I think it's 10 seconds. You sit on it for 10 seconds, it returns to your base, and then you can cap the flag. And here we go. Right off the bat, we've got Ohio Christian on the left side, Sailor Squid, Marshman, Darth Vader, and Jay. And of course, on the right side, we've got Quigley, Evil Ninja, Yummers, and Quack GG. And of course, 12 minutes on the board, and it looks like, honestly, this is a huge start to the game. They've got control of the rockets, as well as control of the enemy team's base as well. So we'll see if Ohio Christian can continue to play defense here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great opening here for Miami. They take all 4 members of Ohio Christian down and only 1 member fall. They should be able to clean up all sorts of power weapons, start getting full map control. You can see they're spawning all of Ohio Christian over towards their Mauler and long haul side of their base. They're maintaining their snipe tower control. So they are all up in their faces right now, just constantly bringing pressure, and that flag already moving across the map. Perfect position. Miami opens up this game with an early 1-0 lead.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of delay on this side, but you're going to see the cap go in, which is great. 1-0, as you said, Miami leads. So, this is like you said, a really good start for Miami, because they're kind of able to get those power weapons right off the bat. And as you can see, pushing up is Ohio Christian, trying to get control of the enemy team's base, but Jay's on his side playing some defense. So a little bit of a spread here in terms of players, on either side of the map. Looks like Miami's going to go for a push right now, and Ohio Christian's going to have to play defense. But 3 down for Ohio Christian. Miami pulling another flag once again.
Yeah, Miami is playing this excellently. They just nonstop aggression. There was another flag out, but that's down towards runway. Should be able to get returned fairly easily. Although they do have 3 players over there, but it looks like they're all going to be trapped in courtyard. If Miami plays this right, they should be able to get several additional kills here and secure the flag return.
That's very well said. So Wembo, but one of the things here is kind of like spawn control, right? So you see Ohio Christian, they've got the flag on their courtyard, and one of them went down, but they're going to spawn directly back on that flag. So we call this a standoff in Halo Infinite. Essentially, both flags are on both sides of both bases, and it's just going to come down to who gets it first. And Wembo, you can see on the left side there, that overshield is going to be picked up, and the rockets are in middle, and it looks like Ohio Christian might have control of those as well. So like I talked about before, the sandbox, very important in this game.
Yeah, it's great that Ohio Christian actually got that flag out, because they have been getting outslayed heavily. The fact that they're able to even get the flag out over towards their side of the base is pretty impressive as it is. You got to be really aware of what's going on the map here. So when it comes to the different power weapons here, unlike something like Valorant here, these are also on static spawns on this map. There's a couple different spawn systems that Halo Infinite uses to determine when weapons are spawning. Of course, the different weapons on different maps. Here on Empyrean, you have the rocket and overshield spawning every 2.5 minutes. And snipers spawn every 3 minutes. So you got to be really aware and determine like which power weapon you're going to play for, because when it does come to these different weapons, they're very spread out as well. So it's going to be difficult to play and secure both, like for example, rockets and overshield at the same time, as opposed to determining which one you want to put more attention to and make sure you secure.
Right. Are the spawns also set for these weapons, or do they change?
They are going to be set on these, so it'll be spawning in the same locations each time. So if you're looking at your screen now, you can see players fighting over here towards long haul, but directly behind them in this kind of green hallway here, this is where rocket spawns, right where he ran by. So every 2.5 minutes, you'll have to be aware of that.
Yeah, very cool, and that's what kind of makes Halo such an incredible game. But you can see, I believe one of the flags was, both flags are still out for both sides. So again, a little bit of a standoff. Miami is going to be 2 down, and it looks like potentially that flag is still going to be out for both sides right now, and a push has to come through. But something I'm noticing is Quigley 7 and 3 thus far, 7 kills, 3 deaths, and 4 assists, which is huge. But his name is Quigley. And very, very interesting, and interestingly enough, Quigley is the name of a medal in Halo Infinite when you have a sniper and you kill 2 players at the same time. It's pretty much a collateral. You can call it a collateral in Valorant. That's essentially what a Quigley is. And I think it's just very cool that his name is Quigley. But here we go. once again, that overshield is coming up. You can see a big standoff here, but it's going to be very important here for Ohio Christian to get this flag cap because they can tie the game up 1-1, but they've got to get that return first. And it looks like right off the bat, Miami's going to have the control of the power weapons once again. So you're going to see a potential push here from Miami.
Yeah, you see Miami, they grab those rockets, but the good news for Ohio Christian is even though they've been being heavily outslayed, the fact that they're only down 1-0 and currently in a flag standoff, that as long as they play this situation correctly, they'll be able to tie up this game and all those kills basically a key point.
We'll see if they're able to do that. You know, watching this one, Boba, you see like this very, very chaotic. Is there anything that kind of stands out to you in a game like Halo?
Honestly, to me, it just seems really fast.
Yes, it is very fast. And as fast as it is, they just tied up the game. So Ohio Christian and Miami are both tied 1-1. So the standoff has ended. And of course, Miami getting that very important first cap, and then Ohio Christian going to be tying it up. So we've got a little bit of a game on our hands here. 5 minutes and 53 seconds remaining. And again, it's going to come down to the control of the base. But as you can see, at the top left of your screen, 2 players from Ohio Christian are going to fall. So it's up to Miami to push on that advantage.
Yeah, you can see they got that return, even though it was Miami that maintained the rockets kind of during that standoff. But both snipers came up, and it looks like both snipers going over to Miami this time. So this is back to Ohio Christian being in a really tough spot. Backs against the wall here. 2 down once again with the collapse. You can see all 4 members of Miami just pushing across the map. And you'll have all of Ohio Christian coming off spawn in that little room over there in the corner. So they are going to have a really tough time kind of breaking out of this setup and control and preventing another flag cap for Miami.
Yeah, that's definitely very well said. And, you know, Wembo, but you can kind of look at the top left and top right of the screen. And when you see 1 or 2 players down for one particular side, it becomes very difficult for that team that is 2 down to play defense. And it looks like right now, you know, Ohio Christian are on the back foot once again, like Elamite had said. And, you know, potentially, you know, with Ohio Christian having the sniper in hand, it could be really ugly. They're playing a lot of defense right now. But, you know, if Miami is able to push up and just kind of get a pick here first, there's the snipe from Sailor Squid. Beautiful shot right there. That's going to be a big kill because that evens up the numbers. Now it's a 3v3.
Yeah, and you can see the different notifications that you're seeing on the screen. That's Overshield and Rockets coming up once again here. So you can see both of them go over, I think, once again to Miami here. And as we say that, the Rocket player rotates around to long haul, gets a double kill, including that kill on the sniper rifle player. So once again, just putting Ohio Christian in a really tough spot. Coming off respawn again, no power weapons to use while trying to stop, looks like Yummer SC from running that flag through long haul once again. Even though they kept this game really close, it's tied right now. But as we say that, this flag should be going in. Nobody in position to stop it. 3 dead for Ohio Christian once again, even as those players keep spawning. And they are just having a tough time getting out of their base.
And Wembo, you're going to hear Elamite say outslayed, you know, often here. As you can see, the kill column for Miami on the right top center, the right top side of your screen, you know, they've got 13, 18, 10, and 9 kills. Whereas on the other side, the only person to break double digits is Sailor Squid. So you can see getting kills in the game. I mean, it's pretty simple, but getting kills in the game kind of provides you that map control and allows you to get those caps.
And the difference between an objective and a Slayer game right here, because I mean, basically, Miami is outslaying Ohio Christian by double, right? For every 2 kills that Miami's getting, Ohio Christian's only getting 1. And that's going to put them in a tough spot. But objective efficiency is huge in Halo. All those kills, like I said, are a mute point if you're not able to get flag caps on the board. And even though Ohio Christian's getting outslayed, doesn't matter. They can just keep dying over and over and over again as long as they get that flag out and move it across the map here as well. So definitely in a tough spot. You can see those slate column just not looking good in their favor here, and I'm sure they could feel it in game. They're just constantly down in numbers here. New sniper rifle just spawns though, and this is the kind of stuff that they need to get back into the game. Just 1 power weapon, 1 kind of exchange here can definitely open up the game and tie things up again. Less than 2 or just over 2 minutes left to play here in the game. There is an overtime function set up, so as long as they're able to get the flag before time hits 0, there is an opportunity to cap it once again.
And as you can see, like Elamite had noted, you know, Miami is down two players right now. So it's a 4v2 situation. This is where Ohio Christian really need to push up and be aggressive. As of right now, you know, they've gotten 2 kills on the side of Miami, but, you know, the aggression's finally coming out. You can see a player down bottom snipe there on the red side. They're all pushing on courtyard side. It's a very strong courtyard side push, but they're taking tons and tons of damage, and one is going to go down instantly. That's going to be Marshman, so he's going to spawn back at his base once again, and this will be really rough for Ohio Christian because it just means that they're going to have a hard time pulling this flag. They try to pull it anyway, but in desperation, but it's not going to be good enough as they get outslayed once again.
Yeah, you can see they're just moving around the map, sword control over here, over towards Miami. Now you do have Ohio Christian with a sniper rifle in hand, able to connect on a few shots here. This could change the game, like we said. New repulsor most likely coming up again here in a few moments. That's going to spawn every 1 minute on the game. And depending on what map you are on, there are different weapon respawn times built in for several of the different maps here. So this is one of the ones that's slightly longer than some of the other ones that we have in the playlist. But less than a minute left to play on the clock. Last opportunities here for Ohio Christian to try to tie this up, send it into overtime. We'll see if they're able to put any string any kills together here to make a really solid push.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. They've got to get the kills, but unfortunately 3 go down for Ohio Christian. So with 30 seconds remaining, you know, 10 seconds on that spawn timer, it's going to be very difficult for them to come back up and make sure that they can push to the enemy side and get this flag pull. And you can see a lot of damage coming in, some assists coming in as well for Miami. And it looks like this first game is going to be all but over. There's no shot that in 20 seconds you go to the enemy base and pull a flag. It's looking impossible right now for game number 1.
Yeah, there's definitely worlds in which it can exist, but the defense here from Miami is just too strong. They know as long as we keep them off the flag, we win this game. They're not even pushing through, just focusing entirely on defense. And sure enough, they'll come out and take game number 1.
That's a very convincing game number 1. And honestly, if we see that trend, in the next couple of games of this series, it's going to be, you know, all she wrote. I mean, Miami absolutely outslaying the competition there. Bobo, what did you see in terms of, you know, for Halo Infinite, you know, watching Halo Infinite and hearing the commentating? I know you said it's very fast paced. Did you start to understand, you know, spawns and kind of like, you know, advantages as we were explaining it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was also thinking about how interesting it is because, you know, in games like Valorant and whatnot, there's like you spawn at the same time with your team, but in a scenario like Halo where you have different spawn times and you're trying to make those plays to get the flag and set up defense, it all, you know, you have to put it together with what you have.
Yeah, very well said. Honestly, that's very well said. Valorant is like one of those games where you only have one life. You know, you die and that's pretty much it. If you die early, you know, and they're able to take sight, that's all for you. And in Halo, you have multiple chances. And as you can see, Miami took great advantage of those multiple chances. They were able to continue to slay. And again, it comes down to that power weapon control. You see the indicators that Elamite was talking about, that overshield, the sniper, the rockets. Like, you know, Miami took control of those. They were able to push aggressively on the map. The crazy thing to me, Kyle, is the fact that, you know, Ohio Christian was able to get that one cap, you know, even being completely outslayed there. And like you talked about, that's objective efficiency.
Yeah, the fact that they were able to make that close and even being in a tying or winning position towards the end of the game kind of speaks wonders to that objective efficiency. So heavily outslayed 2-to-1 type scenario, which you don't see very often. You know, maybe 5 or 10 kills. That was like 30 or more kills that they were heavily outslayed by in that game. So for a 2-to-1 victory, can definitely bode well. You know, I'm a little worried for them in the next game type, which is only a Slayer-focused game where you have to be putting up those kills. There's no flag or objective to work around. So that might be a little bit challenging. But if they play their cards right, you know, and get some objective game types back in your favor here, you can make this an interesting series.
Very, very true. So like Kyle said, Wembo, but this next game type is going to be Slayer on Recharge. And kills is the name of the game here. First to 50 kills is going to be the winner. And if we see that trend that we saw in the last game, Miami's going to have a pretty easy time. I'm going to, you know, one thing that I noticed kind of like a little bit of a deeper level in terms of gameplay analysis is the fact that, you know, Ohio Christian were essentially, you know, kind of spread out. And, you know, in a game like Valorant where you can take those 1v1s, right? You can take, the 1v1s. They call it pivotal fights in Halo. You take those 1v1s and it's a one-shot kill to the head. In a game like Valorant, it's okay to kind of cover all angles and be able to spread out and essentially get those trades. But in a game like Halo, being spread out like that means you're isolated. And it means, and I'm sure Kyle can attest to this, it means that, you're in trouble because you're going to get 2v1, you're going to get, 3v1 essentially. And we talked about this before, 4 shots with a battle rifle kill someone. So if you have three people shooting the same player, he's going to go down very quick. Kyle, I'm sure you can attest to, isolation and being caught off guard. These players from Ohio Christian, they need to start pushing together.
Yeah, teamwork is the name of the game in a lot of scenarios and a lot of these game types as well. Individual skill is obviously important in any kind of first-person shooter, but that can be overcome, especially in Halo, in a fast-paced game type. So, the difference between Halo versus a lot of other really popular games that might be round-based, the Counter-Strikes, the Rainbow Sixes, the Valorants, like we're talking about here, a completely different dynamic in game as opposed to a 15-minute all-out slugfest where people are just nonstop action. So, things you can definitely pull away with in a Slayer. And even though this is 15 minutes, no break kind of scenarios, you can slow games down a lot, kind of force the enemy team to make moves. You get an early lead, kind of slow it down, try to play around different corners and force the enemy team to make mistakes. There's a lot of different kind of styles you can incorporate into these games, but you got to be careful because with a team that can slay as heavily as Miami here, they probably won't give you the opportunity to slow that game down at all. They'll just be constantly in your face, constantly pushing.
Absolutely. I want to take this time to let you know, if you're near Lexington, Kentucky, it's not too late to attend the campus takeover in person. There's a campus takeover happening right now in person. Head over to campustakeover.gg to register, and there's a full schedule of panels, workshops, and community events that are happening all weekend this weekend. So if you're near the area, get over there. I mean, these guys are all playing live. This is an awesome opportunity, especially those workshops and panels. Like, if you're looking to get into this industry, this is a perfect time. You've got the tools necessary to get into this industry. I think it's a growing industry. I know it's a growing industry. You can get into it early, take those workshops, learn as much as you can, and really apply yourself, and you can have a future in esports. But as we get on, we're going to go to our very next game here very shortly. They're just taking care of some technical issues in the back end. Thank you so much for being patient with us. Of course, a thank you to Gen G Esports. I think this is so far this is an incredible event, and we're seeing obviously varying levels of skill in these players, and I think this is going to be a nice little break for them to kind of sit down, talk, reset, maybe talk about strategy a little bit, especially on Recharge. Recharge is one of those maps where you're talking about cross angles, so you're talking about a lot of lines of sight where you can get these angles to help your teammates to be in that scenario where you're able to team shot. They call it team shot effectively. Kyle, what do you think about Recharge as a map? Obviously, it's been around for a very long period of time, since the start of Halo Infinite. What do you think about Recharge as a map?
Recharge is a really fun map to play. One of the more enjoyable ones, I think, for Halo Infinite. It's the only map that features a shock rifle, which is definitely a favorite amongst many pro players, and the power that you can have behind that weapon. Recharge is also one that has a few changes since we last saw. So I believe we're going to be seeing the gravity hammer on some of these maps where these players are playing. So that is a new addition coming after the last qualifier as well. So a map that a lot of teams maybe don't have much experience using, as you don't see it in many of the different playlists. So with Recharge coming up next, it is a map where it can be very difficult to kind of mount comebacks. It's a very difficult map to kind of push on teams. So if you're set up well defensively, you can definitely hold those fairly well. And will we see teams really start to incorporate some of the equipment and like I said, the gravity hammer into this game is going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah, gravity hammer is going to be a fun one, Wimbo, but you're gonna love that. Out of the weapons you've seen and the equipment you've seen so far, Wimbo, is there anything that you like so far, like something that kind of stands out to you, that a weapon that you think is more fun looking than the others? Would you say? Maybe the sniper, the rockets.
It's like a purple one with spikes on it, I think. That one.
Oh, the Needler.
Interesting.
Oh, yes. The Needler is a good one. We have a little bit of a memory with the Needler from way back in the day. His name is Walshy. He's now an esports commentator, but in Halo 2, he got 2 Needlers. The Halo 2 was back in 2005. he got 2 Needlers, and I believe it was T-Squared. He killed T-Squared, then he ended up just spraying the Needler into T-Squared's body, and it's been a memory for years. We're talking like, you know, essentially decades now. So the Needler is definitely one of the weapons that has a lot of history, and honestly, a very strong weapon too. If you can track the enemy really well with the Needler, it's a very fast time to kill. I think even faster than the battle rifle as well. You know, Kyle, how are you with the Needler? Are you good with it?
I'm decent with it. I mean, the Needler is extremely powerful, and in Halo Infinite, it's the strongest the Needler's ever been. You know, just in case this does make it back to T-Squared, I should make it known that Walshy did not actually kill T-Squared with those Needlers 15 years ago, contrary to popular belief, but he was indeed shooting his body on the ground. Yes, that is the scenario here. So Needler is extremely powerful. It actually spawns right where those grenades were coming in here, in what would be known as Turbine on this map. So there is a Needler. We'll see if any teams elect to use it. It is extremely powerful, like we said, but it's easy to play around at times if you know they have it. It is one of those weapons where if you hit them with 15 Needlers, it'll kill them, but if you hit them with 14, it almost does nothing. So it's really kind of, you know, different kind of gun mechanics than you see in most of the Halo weapons.
Yeah, agreed. Right off the bat here, we've got a 9-4 lead thus far. You can see Ohio Christian having a little bit of a rough time. We're on board with Evil Ninja. He's an Optic Gaming fan. I'm sure Kyle's upset with that one. Kyle, of course, the coach of Space Station Gaming. Optic is a team that actually won the Worlds. They won HCS Worlds last year at the very end of Season 1. They also won Orlando, the event right before that. And of course, this season is pretty much up for grabs when it comes to all these teams. Like Kyle said, so much has changed. The game has changed. And you know, players have come into the scene, like teams have come into the scene like FaZe, that are really looking to take over. But as we can see, like I said, 10-4 is the score line thus far. It's still respectable. All that Ohio Christian needs to do is, like I said before, kind of stay together and make sure they're pushing as a unit. You can see that right now on the pipe side. That's a plasma pistol, and the green glow right there that you can see, that's a plasma pistol. But I love the rotation from Miami. They knew that pressure was coming in from that pipe side, and they got out just in time.
Yeah, but you can see Camo just spawned. So the player in Turbine there, the blue player, Yummers, he does have that camo, and it looks like he's making a flank to these players over at A. And as we say that, all 4 members go down. So Miami just doing a great job securing some of the weapons on the map, pushing all of the players from Ohio Christian out from where they're hiding and where they're sitting, and starting to build upon this lead here. 15-5, definitely a dream start here for most teams to be able to build up such a large lead so early on in the game.
All right, and as you see, once again, 2 down for Ohio Christian. 17-7 is the score. They're up by 10, and honestly, at a high level of play, 10 kills is an insane, an insurmountable situation. They're going to have a hard time coming back in this one, but the shock rifle really not being utilized. It's actually on the right hand side of this player that's sitting inside of pipes. This is pipes right here. He doesn't opt to get that, but we're on board with Dark Vader, who ends up going down. Sailor Squid ends up going down, and that's what we call in the casting world a caster curse, because everyone you switch to ends up dying, and that's going to be 3 dead once again.
Yeah, you can see just nonstop aggression here from Miami as they continue to put the hurt on Ohio Christian. You can see all 4 of those members in gold. They picked up a couple kills. They're immediately rotating, trying to recognize where the spawns are going to be here for Ohio Christian, and just constantly keep pushing and applying pressure here. That lead 23-8 now. Just not looking good here for Ohio Christian. Marshman's not been able to grab himself a frag yet as well. And you can see they're all coming off spawn here towards what would be known as backseat, based on spawn locations and the different strongholds that you'll see on this map. Shock rifle, like you said, active, is finally in play now. No kills connected, but you can see some damage being output there as well. The shock rifle, very unique weapon in Halo Infinite. It's very accurate. It is a one-shot headshot kill, but it also has this chain reaction feature where you're able to shoot different things on the ground, or if you're able to snipe a player and there's someone standing next to him, it'll actually do chain damage. So you got to be careful not standing too close to people, or even just exposing yourself too far when they have that weapon, as it's extremely accurate. And like you said, one-shot kill.
Yeah, that's definitely something to think about too. And one of the things, when you start to see objective play on this map, which I don't think we're going to see in this series, but objective play on this map, there are these pads that are in the middle of, like, let's say a hill in King of the Hill, and or you know, when you're talking about strongholds, there's this pad in the middle of that objective, where if you shoot it with either a disruptor, which is also I believe they're called kinetic weapons. I could be mistaken on that one, but if you shoot it with the disruptor, which is in the hands of this man right here, that's going to be J7592. If you shoot the pad, it actually electrocutes anyone in the surrounding area, and we're starting to see that utilized. That was utilized pretty much the entirety of Halo Infinite, but we're starting to see it be very, very strong. And shock rifle, another weapon, as well as the disruptor that you can use to shoot those pads.
Yeah, Commando here, which is the weapon on your screen. Another weapon that got recently buffed, but right after Charlotte, they're going to be nerfing it once again because it's just so powerful. You can see 7-shot perfect kill if you hit all of them. There is a slight bloom factor to the weapon, like you might see in a lot of other games, but still very accurate, and you're able to reset the bloom when you're shooting that. So another adjustment is you used to see that weapon spawn on a static timer, just constantly coming up, or not static timer, but whatever the weapon's grabbed, immediately go on respawn. A lot of these different weapons, with the most recent patch here from a few days ago, has changed it to what would be referred to as a red stack weapon. That means that once that weapon is grabbed, it will not respawn until it is run out of ammo, or if someone drops it, it then despawns and starts its spawn timer once again. So lots of changes coming in here in this month alone as we get ready to head into Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte's going to be an amazing event. Wembo, why don't you kind of give us an idea of what you see on screen thus far? I know Halo is very, very new to you. Marshman, actually, Kyle was making fun of me. Elamite was making fun of me before we got on cast today, talking about how I goose a lot of my games. It looks like Marshman having a little bit of a rough game. That's called a goose egg 0, 0, and 10 out of Marshman. So hopefully he can get pick that up. But it looks like 46 to 18.
That's actually Owen. Do you know Owen?
Oh.
Owen, no.
Owen, Never heard that one before, Tim?
Yeah, Tony. Yeah, Tony. Yeah, why not be casting?
That one's free. You guys can use it on your friends.
You know, I was wondering, what exactly is the cameo do for the players?
The camo. So the camo, it's pretty much an invisible. It makes you invisible, but you're
like
still.
Predator.
Yeah, essentially, right. Yeah, you can still be seen with the camo, but I'm telling, like, you know, I'm 35 and I've got 4 kids, so 10 years a kid. We're talking 75 years old. I can't see the camo player. I don't know what it is. Like, you walk right past me and I miss it completely. But essentially, it's it makes you invisible, allows you to make these very good plays on the map where you can break setups with it. You can essentially, completely infiltrate a base and just kind of, like I said before, once you get that first kill, it's pretty much a setup break. So camo, very important power up to be used. We'll see camo and we'll see overshield as the 2 power ups in most of these maps.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we didn't get to see a lot of the Needler. Wembo, I know that was your favorite weapon. We didn't get to see a lot of the Needler in that game, but we did see a new weapon in the Disruptor, which is a really good weapon to use. And Elamite was talking about weapons being buffed and et cetera in this season, and I'm sure you have the same thing in Valorant. Some of the weapons, tweaked here and there. Well, the Disruptor is one of those weapons that it wasn't working as intended for the beginning of season 1. But basically it does this damage over time, where if you shoot a target, 3 or 4 times with it, it'll essentially keep draining the shields, as time goes on. And in Halo, when you lose your shields, it takes 5 seconds after you stop taking damage to get your shields back. What the Disruptor does is essentially stall that and delay that. And we talked about how important numbers are. If you use a Disruptor on someone, that person's pretty much out of the play for 10 seconds, and you can really take advantage of that. Would you agree, Kyle?
Oh, absolutely. The disruptor is something you're seeing more and more, especially at the pro level. Besides some of the chain reaction abilities, so it's one of those weapons where if you shoot anything that's kind of sort of like metal, I guess, to describe it, so it would be weapon pads, it could be grenades on the ground, it could be someone else's battle rifle that fell off of their Spartan or a dropped weapon. And if you're able to shoot those things and create chain reaction, so it'll do damage to anyone within a certain amount of feet from where you are shooting that or where that weapon is on the ground. So at the highest level, you're seeing that used a lot in King of the Hill games, just regular Slayers, to the point that Tim just brought up. It does do damage over time. So when you are in an engagement, like Active said, it takes 5 seconds for your shields to start recharging. However, if that's damage you took from a disruptor pistol, if they shot you 5 or 6 times with it, that damage over time is going to last for an extra 5 or 6 seconds before it's fully taken effect. And then your shield recharge time starts, and then you can be full health again. So rather than getting shot with the BR, getting shot with the disruptor pistol might take you out of the fight for 8 to 10 seconds as opposed to only like 5 or so. So at the highest level, you'll see that weapon really being used a lot more.
Yes, so I'm getting word that this is a best of 5. So essentially, Miami is going to be up 2-0 in this series. And, you know, Boba, this is one of those moments for Ohio Christian. They need to pull something together here. You know, based off of what we've seen so far, it's going to be really difficult just because of the fact that, you know, in both games, you know, they're getting completely outslayed. In the objective game, they did, bring it a little closer. So essentially, these next 2 objective games, if they're able to use objective efficiency, we could potentially see a game 5. And if they win the game 5, we'll call that a reverse sweep. So what do you think the chances are of Ohio Christian kind of coming back in this series? Do you think that maybe they'll stand a chance?
I mean, honestly, just from what I understand, and that's like a very limited amount, as
of course, yeah.
Honestly, I think it'll come down to, like you said, whether or not they have the objective control that they need, because frankly, from the kills, it doesn't seem like they're holding much. They're not holding up as well. So if they're able to use their kills effectively and turn that into objective control, then certainly, I'm sure they'll have a chance to do a reverse sweep there.
100% agree. We got live fire strongholds coming up next. And so I'll give you a little bit of a rundown of what strongholds is. Essentially, you've got 3 plots on the map, A, B, and C. And you've got to take control of at least 2 of them in order to gain points in the game. If you take control of all 3, that is considered a triple cap, which will allow you 2 points per second. So as you can see, in a game to 250, you know, getting 2 points a second is really good. We'll see if potentially Miami can continue the slaying ability that they've had thus far. And right away, 3 down for Ohio Christian, and Quacked. He's got control of the sniper and the heat wave, a weapon I don't think we've seen thus far. Look at the snipe on him, a double kill. Beautiful shots. He's going to defend that overshield. If he can get more, the triple as well. Oh my goodness, that is called taking over a game.
Oh, I wanted him to hit that shot so badly. He was so close to just doing wonders. That would have been a disgusting overkill. Snipe several people to take them down and help secure overshield for his team. So with that kind of start, Ohio Christian, they're definitely in rough shape. Quacked is just not missing with this weapon right now. 5-0. One of those was being a triple kill for the OS battle, like you said. And that triple cap, we may be seeing it in effect very soon if he continues to hit shots like this.
We'll see if he continues here. As you can see on the board, they've got 2 caps, and they continue to get time approaching 60 seconds only. Or not only, but 0 seconds on the board for Ohio Christian. The sniper is going to run out of ammo, so we'll potentially see if that affects anything. But this top tower control, so very strong here. He's got 1 bullet left, and the sniper decides to pick it up, and he gets the shot. That's so beautiful. Picks up the snipe, 1 bullet left, gets the headshot. That's going to be very important. As you can see, 85 and counting for this Miami squad.
Yeah, you can see Miami, they've got an idea in their head how they want to play these game types, how they want to work together. Kind of looks like they've got their call-outs on lock. You'd see new overshields coming up. It will be Ohio Christian to grab that. So 3 players together help secure that overshield However, Overshield, while it is a huge advantage, it can be taken out very quickly, especially if more than one person is involved in the fight here. So that Overshield is in C. A big battle comes out quickly, grabs himself a triple kill, and you can see that Overshield player got absolutely melted by the 3 members of Miami, and they're able to get a couple of points on the board, but that is just not going to be enough when you find yourself down in a situation like this. They're going to be back stuck in A here, trying to push out. You have to focus either B or C here in order to secure yourself the 2 captures, but you need kills on the way to doing it as well. You can see 2 make that 3 members go down once again. Last player alive has nowhere to go for Ohio Christian, falls once again. And here you have Miami forcing those spawns into A and just killing Ohio Christian over and over again as they try to flood out towards these other strongholds.
Yeah, it looks like Miami State is racking up a lot of kills right now.
Definitely.
Lots of kills and lots of time as well. Look at that, 152-5. The kills are coming on the board, like you said, Wenboba, and as you can see, you're perfectly right. 4 dead for Ohio Christian. They're getting outslayed. They've got a ton of time on the board. 250 is the score that they need to achieve here. And once they achieve that, they will win game number 3, which then in turn means the end of the series.
I'm getting really worried, though, that we might see Owen and Owen's friend back in this game once again, because the kills just are not going into Ohio Christian's favor. You do have Sailor Squid with 2 and 8, but Marshman and Dark Vader both 0 and 7, 0 and 8 here. So just a few moments away from falling into that position once again. But you can see they almost secured B, but it's just too little too late. They're not able to secure it the entire way. They're still going to be stuck at that 5-point mark, and they're constantly looking to try to find different routes to just get out of A and grab themselves some kills.
Oh yeah, it's definitely very unfortunate because Miami State has already gotten, now that's 3 people with double digits. Double-digit kills, yeah.
That's insane. Yeah, I mean, Yummers has 4, but like you said, 11, 11, and 11 for the other 3 members of the squad. Dark Vader. What do we call that, Kyle? That's called the breadstick. He's taking a trip to Olive Garden, 1 and 10. But, I mean, he gets a kill on the board. It's just not going to be enough, though. When you're getting outslayed this hard, when you're putting this much damage out, and you're getting snipes like that, it just becomes nearly impossible to take any control of the map. 10 more seconds, and Miami close the series 3-0.
Yeah, you can see Owen has made an appearance back in this game as well. You know, it's definitely a tough position to be in. It's something you even see at the highest level. When teams are able to get a good setup, maintain power weapon control, and spawn trap you in a certain location on the map, sometimes it doesn't matter how good you are. There's just nothing you can do when you have that many players, that much pressure, and those kind of power weapons on one side of the map. So unfortunately, they were just not able to lock down any of the strongholds outside of A. The brief moment that they did lock down another stronghold, they all kind of died while doing so. And you can see Miami just run away with that series in general here with a quick 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see Boise State versus University of New Haven coming up next. And we'll keep an eye on that one for you guys and let you know when that series is starting. But like you said, a very convincing 3-0 for Miami, and it's just a skill difference there. You know, maybe players that have been playing Halo Infinite for a while, you know, a lot of the players on Miami, we saw the snipe capability of some of the players. Like they know how to play the game. Like these guys are definitely, you know, some decent players, and we definitely saw that there. You know, if you're on the other side, of course, Ohio Christian, just put more time in it. You know, this is only season 2. You've got an opportunity here, of course, with this collegiate esports program, and you know, just constantly put the work in, get that practice in. If Halo is something that you want to pursue, then I mean, I personally think Halo's an amazing game, and I think its future is very bright. But you know, we'll continue to see hopefully those players competing in the near future. I'm going to take a quick break here, guys, but when we get back, we'll go to winners bracket round number 2. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, they're standing there. They're showing some emotes. I guess we're gonna be happy. Spinning.
Oh, these are so precious. Oh, they're feeding the Poro.
Oh, that's what matters.
Yeah, that was the second game.
We're switching up. That's
any of that was under the tower.
Yeah, definitely some good retaliation are still coming out. That empowered Q from Karma, and the root is gonna hit. First blood is actually gonna go over to Zyra, and that will be an ace. Clear the wave. So in the previous games, we had the players. The root lands, and the ultimate's gonna come out, and that will be first blood.
Boom. Now they do have 32 minions. Still quite far. Look at that wall again.
Okay, the root
it's the
again,
wall.
and
That's the ult, and there we go. Second kill coming in from Mizu.
Also, really unfortunate here is that they almost got both of them. Right? That's so low. Morgana's 5 HP, and it was repeated yet again.
Yeah, but look at that, just inside of turret range.
We just like got Seraphim ultimate immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the Lux actually is a little bit more. They are gonna stun.
Oh no!
There's a lot of damage, but the first blood is gonna go towards the Orianna, and now that she is charmed, and the Dark Binding is a little bit wide, it will be
that is
Team
nice.
Ace.
And the champions for this League of Legends GV2 will be SNG.
And they're doing their ritual again.
That's going to be Dimension with the Cosmic Divide. Oh no, but Kaz. Oh, so it's 4v4 for the retake. I thought he was sure. At least Melicity is able to follow up with it. The three players, 14 blocks walking on the outside. Duarte going nuts. Coming out victorious in that engagement. And like that, plays left
from behind
players.
Okay, so Nikki was able to get that pick from behind.
Last player standing.
Run it back, but whoa.
Oh my gosh, thank you for our amazing team. Like, I love our Jet. She's by far the best Jet I've ever seen in the world. Thank you to our Phoenix. She is the craziest entry fragger ever. Thank you to our Killjoy and Sage mix. Thank you for being the best Sentinel ever. We honestly have such a strong team. Thank you for Sova for being like the best lineup person, post plant, amazing. Like, I love Team Blossom. Like, we've come so far. So thank you so much for having us here and having us compete in this tournament.
here. They're showing some emotes. I guess we're gonna be happy. Spinning.
Oh, these are so precious. Oh, they're feeding the Poro.
Oh, that's what matters.
Yeah, that was the second game.
We're switching up. The Ari.
Got any of that was under the tower.
Yeah, definitely some good retaliation are still coming out. That empowered Q from Karma, and the root is gonna hit. First one is actually gonna go over to Zyra, and that will be an ace. Clear the wave. Probably. So in the previous games, we had the players. The root lands, and the ultimate's gonna come out, and that will be first blood.
Boom. Now they do have 32 minions. Still quite far. Look at that wall again.
Okay, the root
it's the
again,
wall.
and
That's the ult, and there we go. Second kill coming in from Mizu.
Also, really unfortunate here is that they almost got both of them. Right? That's so low. Morgana's 5 HP, and it was repeated yet again.
Yeah, but look at that, just inside of turret range.
We just like got Seraphim ultimate immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the Lux actually is a little bit more ultimate. They are gonna stun.
Oh no!
There's a lot of damage, but the first blood is gonna go towards the Orianna, and now that she is charmed, and the Dark Binding is a little bit wide, it will be
that is
team
ace. And the champion for this League of Legends GV2 will be SNG.
And they're doing their ritual again?
That's gonna be Dimension with the Cosmic Divide. Oh no, but Cad's out. So it's 4v4 for the retake. I thought he was gonna score. At least Melicity is able to follow up with it. The three players, 14 blocks walking on the outside. Where are they going nuts? Coming out victorious in that engagement. And like that, Blaze left
from behind
players.
Okay, so Nikki was able to get that pick from behind.
Last player standing.
Run it back, but whoa.
Oh my gosh, thank you for our amazing team. Like, I love our Jet. She's by far the best Jet I've ever seen in the world. Thank you to our Phoenix. She is the craziest Sentry Fragger ever. Thank you to our Killjoy and Sage Mix. Thank you for being the best Sentinel ever. We honestly have such a strong team. Thank you for Sova for being like the best lineup person, post clans, amazing. Like, I love Team Blossom. Like, we've come so far. So thank you so much for having us here and having us compete in this tournament.
standing there. They're showing some emotes. I guess we're gonna be happy. Spinning.
Oh, these are so precious. Oh, they're feeding the Poro.
Oh, that's what matters.
Yeah, that was the second game.
We're switching up the Ari.
Got any of that was under the tower.
Yeah, definitely some good retaliation are still coming out. That empowered Q from Karma, and the root is gonna hit. First blood is actually gonna go over to Zyra, and that will be an ace. Clear the wave. So in the previous games, we had the players. The root lands, and the ultimate's gonna come out, and that will be first blood.
Ooh. Now they do have 32 minions. Still quite far. Look at that wall again.
Okay, the root
it's the
again,
wall.
and
That's the ult, and there we go. Second kill coming in from Mizu.
Also, really unfortunate here is that they almost got both of them. Right? That's so low. Morgana's 5 HP, and it was repeated yet again.
Yeah, but look at that, just inside of turret range.
We just like got Seraphim ultimate immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the Lux actually is a little bit low. The ultimate. They are gonna stun.
Oh no!
There's a lot of damage, but the first blood is gonna go towards the Orianna, and now that she is charmed, and the Dark Binding is a little bit wide, it will be
that is
team
ace. And the champions for this League of Legends GV2 will be SNG.
And they're doing their ritual again?
That's gonna be Dimension with the Cosmic Divide. Oh no, but Cat. Oh, so it's 4v4 for the retake. I thought he was sure. At least Melicity is able to follow up with it. Like the three players, 14 blocks walking on the outside. Fuerte going nuts. Coming out victorious in that engagement. And like that, Blaze left
from behind
players.
Okay, so Nikki was able to get that pick from behind.
Last player standing.
Run it back, but whoa.
Oh my gosh, thank you for our amazing team. Like, I love our Jet. She's by far the best Jet I've ever seen in the world. Thank you to our Phoenix. She is the craziest entry fragger ever. Thank you to our Killjoy and Sage Mix. Thank you for being the best Sentinel ever. We honestly have such a strong team. Thank you for Sova for being like the best lineup person, post plant, amazing. Like, I love Team Blossom. Like, we've come so far. So thank you so much for having us here and having us compete in this tournament.
Okay, they're standing there. They're showing some emotes. I guess we're gonna be happy. Spinning.
Oh, these are so precious. Oh, they're feeding the Poro.
Oh, that's what matters.
Yeah, that was the second game.
We're switching up the Ari.
Got any of that was under the tower.
Yeah, definitely some good retaliation are still coming out. That empowered Q from Karma, and the root is gonna hit. First one is actually gonna go over to Zyra, and that will be an ace. Clear the wave. So in the previous games we had the players. The root lands and the ultimate's gonna come out, and that will be first blood.
Boom. Now they do have 32 minions. Still quite far. Look at that wall again.
Okay, the root
it's the
again,
wall.
and
That's the ult, and there we go. Second kill coming in from Mizu.
Also, really unfortunate here is that they almost got both of them. Right? That's so low. Morgana's 5 HP, and it was repeated yet again.
Yeah, but look at that, just inside of turret range.
We just like got Seraphim ultimate immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the Lux actually is a little bit more ultimate. They are gonna stun.
Oh no!
There's a lot of damage, but the first blood is gonna go towards the Orianna, and now that she is charmed, and the Dark Binding is a little bit wide, it will be
that is
Team
nice.
Ace.
And the champion for this League of Legends GVTO will be SNG.
And they're doing their ritual again?
That's gonna be Dimension with the Cosmic Divide. Oh no, but Kaz. Oh, so it's 4v4 for the retake. I thought he was gonna sure. At least Melissa is able to follow up with it. The three players, 14 blocks walking on the outside. Duarte going nuts. Coming out victorious in that engagement. And like that, plays left
from behind
players.
Okay, so Nikki was able to get that pick from behind.
Last player standing.
Have to run it back, but whoa.
Oh my gosh, thank you for our amazing team. Like, I love our Jet. She's by far the best Jet I've ever seen in the world. Thank you to our Phoenix. She is the craziest entry fragger ever. Thank you to our Killjoy and Sage Mix. Thank you for being the best Sentinel ever. We honestly have such a strong team. Thank you for Sova for being like the best lineup person, post clans, amazing. Like, I love Team Blossom. Like, we've come so far. So thank you so much for having us here and having us compete in this tournament.
Okay, they're standing there. They're showing some emotes. I guess we're gonna be happy. Spinning.
Oh, these are so precious. Oh, they're feeding the Poro.
Oh, that's what matters.
Yeah, that was the second game.
We're switching up the expansion for the Ari. We've mostly and this charm.
Got any of that was under the tower.
Yeah, definitely some good retaliation are still coming out. That empowered Q from Karma, and the root is gonna hit. First one is actually gonna go over to Zyra, and that will be an ace. Clear the wave. So in the previous games we had the players. The root lands and the ultimate's gonna come out, and that will be first blood.
Ooh. Now they do have 32 minions. Still quite far. Look at that wall again.
Okay, the root
it's the
again,
wall.
and
That's the ult, and there we go. Second kill coming in from Mizu.
Also, really unfortunate here is that they almost got both of them. Right? That's so low. Morgana's 5 HP, and it was repeated yet again.
Yeah, but look at that, just inside of turret range.
We just like got Seraphim ultimate immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the Lux actually is a little bit low. The ultimate. They are gonna stun.
Oh no!
There's a lot of damage, but the first blood is gonna go towards the Orianna, and now that she is charmed, and the dark binding is a little bit wide, it will be
that is
team
ace. And the champion for this League of Legends GVTO will be SNG.
And they're doing their ritual again?
That's gonna be Dimension with the Cosmic Divide. Oh no, but Cat. Oh, so it's 4v4 for the retake. I thought he was sure. At least Melicity is able to follow up with it. Like the three players, 14 blocks walking on the outside. Where they going nuts? Coming out victorious in that engagement. And like that, Blaze left
from behind
players.
Okay, so Nikki was able to get that pick from behind.
Last player standing.
Run it back, but whoa.
Oh my gosh, thank you for our amazing team. Like, I love our Jet. She's by far the best Jet I've ever seen in the world. Thank you to our Phoenix. She is the craziest entry fragger ever. Thank you to our Killjoy and Sage mix. Thank you for being the best Sentinel ever. We honestly have such a strong team. Thank you for Sova for being like the best lineup person, post plant, amazing. Like, I love Team Blossom. Like, we've come so far. So thank you so much for having us here and having us compete in this tournament.
Okay, they're standing there. They're showing some emotes. I guess we're gonna be happy. Spinning.
Oh, these are so precious. Oh, they're feeding the Poro.
Oh, that's what matters.
Yeah, that was the second game.
We're switching up the flashing forward from the Ari.
Got any of that was under the tower.
Yeah, definitely some good retaliation are still coming out. That empowered Q from Karma, and the root is gonna hit. First blood is actually gonna go over to Zyra, and that will be an ace. Clear the wave. Probably. So in the previous games, we had the players. The root lands, and the ultimate's gonna come out, and that will be first blood.
Ooh. Now they do have 32 minions. Still quite far. Look at that wall again.
Okay, the root
it's the
again,
wall.
and
That's the ult, and there we go. Second kill coming in from Mizu.
Also, really unfortunate here is that they almost got both of them. Right? That's so low. Oh my god, that's 5 HP, and it was repeated yet again.
Yeah, but look at that, just inside of turret range.
We just like got the Seraphim ultimate immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the Lux actually is a little bit more the ultimate. They are gonna stun.
Oh no!
There's a lot of damage, but the first blood is gonna go towards the Orianna, and now that she is charmed, and the Dark Binding is a little bit wide, it will be
that is
team
ace. And the champion for this League of Legends GVTO will be SNG.
And they're doing their ritual again.
That's gonna be Dimension with the Cosmic Divide. Oh no, but Cat's out. So it's 4v4 for the retake. Sure. At least Melicity is able to follow up with it. Like the three players, 14 blocks walking on the outside. Fuerte going nuts. Coming out victorious in that engagement. And like that, Blaze left
From behind?
players.
Okay, so Nikki was able to get that pick from behind.
Last player standing.
Have a run it back, but whoa.
Oh my gosh, thank you for our amazing team. Like, I love our Jet. She's by far the best Jet I've ever seen in the world. Thank you to our Phoenix. She is the craziest entry fragger ever. Thank you to our Killjoy and Sage Mix. Thank you for being the best Sentinel ever. We honestly have such a strong team. Thank you for Sova for being like the best lineup person, post plant, amazing. Like, I love Team Blossom. Like, we've come so far. So thank you so much for having us here and having us compete in this tournament.
Okay, they're standing there. They're showing some emotes. I guess we're gonna be happy. Spinning.
Oh, these are so precious. Oh, they're feeding the Poro.
Oh, that's what matters.
Yeah, that was the second game.
We're switching up the flashing forward from the Ari.
Got any of that was under the tower.
Yeah, definitely some good retaliation are still coming out. That empowered Q from Karma, and the root is gonna hit. First one is actually gonna go over to Zyra, and that will be an ace. Clear the wave. Probably. So in the previous games, we had the players. The root lands, and the ultimate's gonna come out, and that will be first blood.
Ooh. Now they do have 32 minions. Still quite far. Look at that wall again.
Okay, the root
it's the
again,
wall.
and
That's the ult, and there we go. Second kill coming in from Mizu.
Also, really unfortunate here is that they almost got both of them. Right? That's so low. Oh my god, that's 5 HP, and it was repeated yet again.
Yeah, but look at that, just inside of turret range.
We just like got Seraphim ultimate immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the Lux actually is a little bit more the ultimate. They are gonna stun.
Oh no!
There's a lot of damage, but the first blood is gonna go towards the Orianna, and now that she is charmed, and the Dark Binding is a little bit wide, it will be
that is
team
ace. And the champion for this League of Legends GVTO will be SNG.
And they're doing their ritual again.
That's gonna be Dimension with the Cosmic Divide. Oh no, but Cat's out. So it's 4v4 for the retake. I think sure. At least Felicity is able to follow up with it. The three players, 14 blocks walking on the outside. Fuerte going nuts. Coming out victorious in that engagement. And like that, Blaze left
from behind
players.
Okay, so Nikki was able to get that pick from behind.
Last player standing.
Run it back, but
Oh my gosh, thank you for our amazing team. Like, I love our Jet. She's by far the best Jet I've ever seen in the world. Thank you to our Phoenix. She is the craziest entry fragger ever. Thank you to our Killjoy and Sage Mix. Thank you for being the best Sentinel ever. We honestly have such a strong team. Thank you for Sova for being like the best lineup person, post plant, amazing. Like, I love Team Blossom. Like, we've come so far. So thank you so much for having us here and having us compete in this tournament.
Okay, they're standing there. They're showing some emotes. I guess we're gonna be happy. Spinning.
Oh, these are so precious. Oh, they're feeding the Poro.
Oh, that's what matters.
Yeah, that was the second game.
We're switching up the Ari.
Got any of that was under the tower.
Yeah, definitely some good retaliation are still coming out. That empowered Q from Karma, and the root is gonna hit. First blood is actually gonna go over to Zyra, and that will be an ace. Clear the wave. So in the previous games we had the players. The root lands and the ultimate's gonna come out, and that will be first blood.
Boom. Now they do have 32 minions. Still quite far. Look at that wall again.
Okay, the root
it's the
again,
wall.
and
That's the ult, and there we go. Second kill coming in from Mizu.
Also, really unfortunate here is that they almost got both of them. Right? That's so low. Morgana's 5 HP, and it was repeated yet again.
Yeah, but look at that, just inside of turret range.
We just like got Seraphim ultimate immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the Lux actually is a little bit more healed. They are gonna stun.
Oh no!
There's a lot of damage, but the first blood is gonna go towards the Orianna, and now that she is charmed, and the Dark Binding is a little bit wide, it will be
that is
team
an
ace.
And the champion for this League of Legends GVTO will be SNG.
And they're doing their ritual again.
That's gonna be Dimension with the Cosmic Divide. Oh no, but Kaz. Oh, so it's 4v4 for the retake. I thought he was gonna sure. At least Felicity is able to follow up with it. The three players, 14 blocks walking on the outside. Duarte going nuts. Coming out victorious in that engagement. And like that, Blaze left
From
two
behind?
players.
Light planted.
Okay, so Nikki was able to get that pick from behind.
Last player standing.
Have a run it back, but whoa.
Oh my gosh, thank you for our amazing team. Like, I love our Jet. She's by far the best Jet I've ever seen in the world. Thank you to our Phoenix. She is the craziest entry fragger ever. Thank you to our Killjoy and Sage Mix. Thank you for being the best Sentinel ever. We honestly have such a strong team. Thank you for Sova for being like the best lineup person, post clans, amazing. Like, I love Team Blossom. Like, we've come so far. So thank you so much for having us here and having us compete in this tournament.
They're showing some emotes. I guess we're gonna be happy. Spinning.
Oh, these are so precious. Oh, they're feeding the Poro.
Oh, that's what matters.
Yeah, that was the second game.
We're switching up. The Ari.
Got any of that was under the tower.
Yeah, definitely some good retaliation are still coming out. That empowered Q from Karma, and the root is gonna hit. First one is actually gonna go over to Zyra, and that will be an ace. Clear the wave. Probably. So in the previous games, we had the players. The root lands, and the ultimate's gonna come out, and that will be first blood.
Boom. Now they do have 32 minions. Still quite far. Look at that wall again.
Okay, the root
it's the
again,
wall.
and
That's the ult, and there we go. Second kill coming in from Mizu.
Also, really unfortunate here is that they almost got both of them. Right? That's so low. Morgana's 5 HP, and it was repeated yet again.
Yeah, but look at that, just inside of turret range.
We just like got Seraphim ultimate immediately. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the Lux actually is a little bit more healed. They are gonna stun.
Oh no!
There's a lot of damage, but the first blood is gonna go towards the Orianna, and now that she is charmed, and the Dark Binding is a little bit wide, it will be
that is
Team
Ace. And the champion for this League of Legends GVTO will be SNG.
And they're doing their ritual again.
That's gonna be Dimension with the Cosmic Divide. Oh no, but Kaz. Oh, so it's 4v4 for the retake. I thought he was gonna score. At least Melicity is able to follow up with it. The three players, 14 blocks walking on the outside. Where are they going nuts? Coming out victorious in that engagement. And like that, Blaze left
from behind
players.
Spike planted.
Okay, so Nikki was able to get that pick from behind.
Last player standing.
Run it back, but whoa.
Oh my gosh, thank you for our amazing team. Like, I love our Jet. She's by far the best Jet I've ever seen in the world. Thank you to our Phoenix. She is the craziest Sentry Fragger ever. Thank you to our Killjoy and Sage Mix. Thank you for being the best Sentinel ever. We honestly have such a strong team. Thank you for Sova for being like the best lineup person, post plans, amazing. Like, I love Team Blossom. Like, we've come so far. So thank you so much for having us here and having us compete in this tournament.
They're showing some emotes. I guess we're gonna be happy. Spinning.
Oh, these are so precious. Oh, they're feeding the Poro.
Oh, that's what matters.
Yeah, that was the second game.
We're switching up the
Got any of that was under the tower.
Yeah, definitely some good retaliation are still coming out. That empowered Q from Karma, and the root is gonna hit. First one is actually gonna go over to Zyra, and that will be an ace. Clear the wave. So in the previous games, we had the players. The root lands, and the ultimate's gonna come out, and that will be first blood.
Boom. Now they do have 32 minions. Still quite far. Look at that wall again.
Okay, the root
it's the
again,
wall.
and
That's the ult, and there we go. Second kill coming in from Mizu.
Also, really unfortunate here is that they almost got both of them. Right? That's so low. Oh my god, that's 5 HP, and it was repeated yet again.
Yeah, but look at that, just inside of turret range.
We just like a Seraphim ultimate immediately. Okay. Oh, the Lux actually.
Welcome back to the inaugural Gen G takeover at the University of Kentucky. My name is Active, and alongside me I've got Wimboba and Elamite Warrior as well. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. We've got another winners bracket round here coming up next. I apologize for the delay. There were some issues they're actually playing on LAN at the moment. There were some issues with some of the setups there, but we're back and we're ready to get back into some more Halo Infinite action. Wimboba, I'm going to come to you. What have you thought so far about this experience? I know that you're a student caster and you're getting into esports a little bit. What have you thought about the experience so far?
Honestly, it's just been a great experience, and thank you guys, both of you, for helping me ease into it a lot. Yeah, this is a really great opportunity, I think, and I think that it's definitely very eye-opening as well, just to see all the different roles that kind of go on in a production like this.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. As I got into production, I went to HCS Orlando for my first major event. One of the things that after that event I noticed is watching the NFL or watching sports on TV. I'm noticing the production more than anything else. I'm noticing the storylines that they're creating and all of that, and you really get a big insight into that. So again, a thank you to all of our sponsors, but one of them, and I want to thank right now, is of course UPS Jobs. Thank you to UPS Jobs for aligning our mission to help students find their career path, and this could be a career path for someone. If you're maybe interested in casting, go to www.jobs-ups.com. Again, www.jobs-ups.com if you're interested in finding more information about that. We've got winners bracket round number 2 here, and Kyle, I'm going to talk to you about this one because I'm a little excited about this. It's going to be Boise State versus the University of New Haven, but guess what? Boise State has 3 mouse and keyboard players. I was just informed of this just recently, so I'm a little bit excited about that. What do you think about mouse and keyboard in Halo Infinite, and compared to controller?
I mean, one of the age-old discussions, right? Mouse and keyboard versus controller, very polarizing on both ends, and sometimes comes down to game-specific. We have had all 4 kind of mouse and keyboard players participate in events before. I believe we've seen them place as high as top 12, but never breaking into the top 8 there. With this Boise State squad, this is somebody that finished top of their pools and started off in winners bracket round 2. So to have that kind of good start with 3 keyboard mouse players, that's pretty impressive. Really interested to see how they start matching up when we get to some of the later rounds against an all-controller team.
Yeah, so for those of you guys that are not familiar with Halo, you can use both mouse and keyboard and controller to compete. And like Elamite had just kind of alluded to, in the top 8 teams in the world, you don't really see too many mouse and keyboard players up there. But, 343 and HCS have made some improvements to the mouse and keyboard. Some would call them improvements. I'm still on the fence about it. They've added a little bit of aim assist to mouse and keyboard. So as a controller player, you do have aim assist, and you're able to, and that's normal for most controller games out there because you're only able to use your thumbs, whereas as in a mouse, you're able to use your entire arm. But on Halo, they call it mouse friction. It's not necessarily aim assist. you know, it's called mouse friction instead, and it's something that has kind of made mouse and keyboard a little bit more viable coming up, you know, in this season. So I'm excited to see, you know, how many mouse and keyboard players we may see in season 2. And excited to see, of course, this squad of Boise State and, you know, mouse and keyboard players on here. I'm a big fan of this, by the way. It's going to be really hard to not be biased as I'm casting because I'm a big fan of M&K. I'm an M&K player myself. I've been pretty much playing M&K since like the start of Halo Infinite. So we'll get to seeing how that goes. And an interesting thing is this game number 1 is actually going to be Stronghold's live fire. So we've got the sniper that's going to be at the top center of the map. And Wemboba, one of the things about mouse and keyboard is how strong the sniper is with mouse and keyboard. I'm sure you know, playing Valorant, you know, the precision of getting a headshot with mouse and keyboard, it's much easier than, in my opinion, than I would say with the controller. And, you know, having a mouse and keyboard for that sniper top center is going to be huge. You know, what do you think? We actually had some changes recently as well, Elamite, to the sniper rifle, some balance changes to make no scope not as random. I'm sure you're a big fan of that.
Yeah, definitely like the improvements to the sniper rifle, frag grenade improvements that they recently made. A lot of the power weapons are going to have reduced ammo in the next update as well, and the shotgun and the stalker rifle and things like that. That hipfire reduction definitely bodes well to the mouse and keyboard aspect, I'd say as well. You know, mouse and keyboard sniping is, you know, I'd say the one that you definitely give the benefit to over controller in that regard. It's really the consistency and tracking that's required with BR shots and some of the other weapons that the controller kind of comes out in favor of. So yeah, it was I think it was 30% no scope randomness kind of reduction on that sniper rifle. So do expect to see slightly more accurate snipe shots.
We will see that right here. Here we go, guys. This is winner's bracket round number 2. Like Elamite had said, it's Boise State versus the University of New Haven, and of course, very excited to see this Boise State team again. Another thank you to Gen G. And of course, all of our sponsors. But here we go. We're on board with Boise State right off the bat here. And you can see the accuracy of that shot. He's going to get a double kill right away. That's reality. And of course, a 2 cap on the board for Boise.
Yeah, you can see lots of shots coming down. I believe this is going to be one of the mouse and keyboard players we're looking at right now. You can just tell by the quick reticle placement and movements that they're able to do on the controller. The advanced movement kind of can play in favor of controller and mouse and keyboard as well, especially equipment usage. So it is fairly easy to tell in this game which players are in fact on controller and which ones are using that mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting how they're all trying to contest this. I believe that was the shield of equipment.
Yeah, the overshield, and again, that contesting it is definitely really well said, because, you know, taking that top tower control is so very important. It looks like the University of New Haven is going to have that first overshield, but you can see Boise State already putting 37 seconds on the board. Looks like New Haven's got, you know, a little bit of a cap set up here. They've got 2 plots on the board, and that means they'll start to get some time. We've got a little bit of an even match with these 2 teams.
Yeah, you see very close to start, lead in favor of Boise State, but control currently in favor of New Haven as well. So that'll be tied up here very quickly. You can see kills fairly even across the board, but slightly in favor of New Haven. You can see the strategy they're electing for this A and B stronghold control. Force all of Boise State over towards the dummy side of the map and the C stronghold as well. And it looks like they're not pushing too aggressively, trying to force a triple cap or anything. Just maintain their 2 captures, play a little defense, and set up here, and constantly slay out Boise State.
Yeah, and it looks like Boise State is going to get slayed out. That's 3 down for them momentarily. That OS coming up again, Wembo, but we talked about that. And I believe it was the University of New Haven that did get that one again. So that's going to be potentially, if I saw that correctly, 2 in a row. And as we say that, you know, the University of New Haven is taking the lead as well. So 64-37 already starting off.
Yeah, you can see that overshield gets just burnt away so quickly. While it is strong, it is very easy to counter. Live Fire is a map that, while there's some decent size to it, you can make it feel very small once you start recognizing and understanding how the spawn system works and where enemies may be coming off of respawn at.
Could you go a little bit more into detail about how the spawn system works, especially with a stronghold game like this, where you have 3 different sites that the teams have to take control of?
Right, absolutely. So the spawn system is very, not, I wouldn't say it's super complicated, but there's a lot of factors that go into when the game decides kind of where the spawns are. The game itself is designed to help prevent teams from being kind of too overwhelmed. So it's always going to look for an open area on the map to spawn somebody away from the action. With that being said, there's a lot of other spawn influences that come into effect, from shooting or grenades and other kind of like spheres that come into effect when you are evaluating where the spawns may be. There are set spawn locations like towards A, towards B, towards C, and a couple other like major areas on the map, but you're able to block and control spawns as well. So if your team kind of gets spread out, kind of fans out and controls 3/4 of the map, you're pretty much ensured that they're going to spawn the players in that one quadrant that's not occupied.
Definitely really well said. It looks like as of right now, we're going to have a little bit of a lag out, and something that we see in Halo Infinite, unfortunately, pretty often. But what will happen is, we'll essentially just, we'll restart the game and we'll play differential, or we'll play, basically differential is usually what the lineup is. We'll see what the official ruling is on that. Very even matchup though, compared to what we saw in winners bracket round number 1. And a really good question about the spawn system there, and definitely really well answered by Elamite. I think the spawn system, once you understand, Halo becomes like chess. I think the more you understand about Halo and how deep it actually goes, the more I personally fell in love with the game. There's so many different factors that influence spawns, like Elamite has said, and there's so many different factors that influence the game in general. Getting those power weapons and controlling parts of the map, and then forcing spawns. I think that's another big one. You can essentially force a spawn somewhere if you want to take control of one sector of the map. You can force them to spawn in another sector, and there's so much to it. The rotational gameplay, etc. Live fire strongholds is an interesting one because we've seen some incredible comebacks on that map. For instance, 250 is the score that you get, but essentially, Elamite, you can see a comeback. When a team has 240, you can see a snowball effect, even if a team only has 10 points.
Yeah, the way that Infinite functions as well, maybe compared to some of the older Halos, is a lot of the game types are designed to extend the game. Extend the game and basically always keep the door open for comeback situations. If you go back to like anyone that kind of played some of the older Halos, like Halo 3 Oddball was set up in such a way that it was not round based and you wanted to collect 5 minutes of time. Now, in that scenario, if one team had a really good start, got 3 or 4 minutes of time, and at that point in the game, there's only 2 or 3 minutes left, the game's already over. There's just not enough time on the clock to come back and win.
Right.
In Infinite, from King of the Hill to Strongholds to Oddball, a lot of these things freeze the game clock in some scenarios and allow for crazy comebacks. So if there's only 1 second left on the clock and you're down by a full minute, if you hold that ball the entire time, that 1 second does not matter. You can easily come back and win. So you got to always stay on top of your game. Always be aware of potential comebacks. Kind of keep the pedal to the floor the entire game and never let up, or else you can experience some of those insane comebacks.
Yeah, those are some factors like you said that really make Halo Infinite definitely a great viewing experience. Again, freezing that game clock. So picking up the ball freezes the game clock. Of course, when you're contesting a stronghold, potentially you can stop the game clock there too. You need to control a stronghold. Control 2 strongholds to end up getting points. So if one of them is contested, no one's getting points at that point, right? It completely stalls out the game. It just makes for some really interesting gameplay. On that map, you'll see that sniper up top center. I was seeing University of New Haven really utilize that. They don't have mouse keyboard players on their squad, I don't believe. And they were able to utilize that sniper really effectively. I believe it was Reality was the player's name who hit some really disgusting shots. And the cool part is, one of the players, I believe that was on Boise, his name is CNRL. I've actually seen him in matchmaking a few times, and you know, in Onyx. So definitely a player that knows what he's doing and knows Halo, which is great to see. Love that. We'll get back to the game as soon as we possibly can. I will take this time to thank another one of our sponsors, of course, Tax Act. You know, this is the season of filing your tax return. So Tax Act is here to, you know, potentially discover new ways to improve our tax situation and financial well-being. You know, you can visit taxact.com to file free and learn more about maximizing your dollars. And in this day and age, maximizing your dollars is very, very important. So yeah. So what do you think about Halo so far, Wemboba? I know you're a big Valorant person. I know that the you know, it's been chaotic. You know, Halo's a very fast-paced game. Are you starting to understand now some of the systems in place?
Yes, definitely. I think just being here and listening to all the explanations going on, and also just being able to see both teams' player perspective, it also just gets you more insight on how the game works and how different teams are functioning and how they want to approach their objectives.
Yeah, it's interesting because in Valorant you have a, you know, you have just a different, you know, I've always wanted a game type in Halo, and we had one at one point, Elamite, right? It was called Breakout, but I've always wanted a game mode like, you know, with that situation where if you die, you're out of the round. And it just makes for some really intense gameplay. Call of Duty has Search and Destroy. Halo doesn't have one of those yet, and I think what makes games like Valorant and Counter-Strike so exciting is that potential for a 3v1 clutch or, you know, a 4v1 clutch potentially, or an ace. You know, what do you think about that, Elamite? Would you like to see, you know, a game type like that back in Halo at some point?
Yeah, I mean, we have like the attrition, which is almost like a slight form of that, that does include respawns, but you can also be revived after falling there. So yeah, definitely always new creative game types that are fun and competitive. I'm always there for as well, and incorporating some of the enjoyable round-based aspects that a lot of people enjoy in some of these other titles. Yeah, definitely not gonna complain or take anything away from.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. I'm seeing an update here: 104-55, New Haven up 2-1 on Stronghold. So I believe that's the score line we have. So New Haven's going to be up 104-55, and we'll play differential, I would assume. So we'll get back into the game very, very shortly. I believe we're just waiting for a player to get back from the restroom. So these guys are all playing live for, you know, on LAN, and honestly, for me, Halo Infinite on LAN is a great experience. You will talk to any professional player. They will tell you that you know, playing Halo on LAN is such a complete different situation. The game is perfect, I would say, or near perfect on LAN. And as you can see, both teams are right there, just kind of preparing to get in. Of course, the University of Kentucky Federal Credit Union Esports Lounge is where they are right now. And you can see, I love this. I love this, you know, just a group of people that are just, you know, playing for the love of the game. There it is. You got one of the guys there, you know, repping one of the esports clubs. But if you're near Lexington, you can, you know, it's not too late to attend the campus takeover. All you got to do is go to campustakeover.gg to register, and you can see all the schedules of panels, workshops, etc., and the community events held this weekend. It's not just today; it's going to be today and tomorrow. And just an FYI, we're actually playing Valorant after this. I believe at 1 p.m. we'll have Valorant on screen. I'm excited for that because I just got back into Valorant, and I'm going to be casting it for the very first time. How long have you been playing Valorant, Wemboba, if you don't mind me asking? You said a couple months?
I started, in July, because a lot of my friends wanted to join like this small tournament. So I like forced myself to learn the game within a few weeks because of that.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a hard time. Elamite, I know you played Valorant for a little while. Do you still play? Do you still play Valorant?
Occasionally, I'll jump on for a game or two.
Yeah.
You know, Valorant is a different beast entirely for sure. But yeah, I do enjoy it still. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love, like I said, I love like the clutch situations, like, you know, being in a 3v1 or whatever. It's that adrenaline rush that it gives you. One of the things that I've noticed in Valorant is, you know, we have the skins in Halo, which are pretty good. I think they can take a little more advantage of them and do better with the skins. And I think over time we'll see that. But in Valorant, man, the entire game is just your team coming to you and saying, can I have that skin? Can you get me that Vandal skin? And I'm like, dude, I am not a vendor. Like, I'm not here to give you skins all game. That's not what I'm here for, okay? I'm here to play. Oh man, it gets crazy, but people love those skins in Valorant. So we'll see a lot more of that in Halo, which I'm really excited for. But again, want to go back to the whole LAN situation. You know, these players playing on a stage like that, whether it's a smaller stage or a bigger stage, regardless, the nerves get to you, right? And that might play a factor somewhat in your gameplay. Being on that stage potentially and having the pressure, of being watched by a crowd and stuff like that. Kyle, what would you say, Elamite? What would you say about playing on a stage like that, playing on LAN in front of people your first time? How was that experience?
Ooh, going back to the first time, I think there could definitely be some nerves included, especially if it's something you've watched and kind of looked up to people as you began entering the scene. When you get your first opportunity to kind of showcase your talents on a live broadcast at a major event, of course, playing on like a main stage with a crowd watching is definitely going to be a little bit different atmosphere than playing in kind of like the pit area where there's whole lots of stations and tons of matches going on at the same time. It's also a great opportunity to see like which players thrive and flourish under those kind of conditions, and which ones are going to have a harder time kind of adapting there. So the players getting an opportunity to even play on LAN is incredible, because the game itself is phenomenal on LAN. Online and server issues and desyncs and things like that are something everybody's always got to struggle with. To get that atmosphere, to have a condition set up like this where you're able to enjoy the game at the highest level, get some great matches in against friends and competitors, and then of course be able to showcase your skills like that with prizes on the line too is really cool to see, especially in this arena.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, Halo Infinite is a stark contrast from a game like Valorant. I think Valorant online and on LAN, would you say, Wemboba, is a little bit more similar, would you say? Or are is Valorant also vastly different when it comes to online versus on LAN?
Ooh.
Have you tried
Honestly,
Valorant on LAN just yet?
Not really.
Okay, yeah.
I would say I feel like it definitely helps to have your teammates next to you, though. Like when you're playing in person, it definitely adds more to the game's atmosphere, and it makes you feel more hyped up whenever something cool happens. And then if you have a defeat, you have people to talk about that with. So definitely, I think playing in person.
That's a great point too. Being able to potentially, in Valorant, you have, when you die, of course, you're out of the round and you can kind of spectate. But in Halo, playing on LAN next to your teammates is actually a huge advantage because of the fact that they took out, back in Halo 3, we're talking back in 2007, 2008, whatever onwards, you could essentially on your death cam rotate the camera around to kind of see everything around you. But nowadays, you can't do that. Nowadays, 343 has limited the information you get. So like being on stage with your friends or your team, you can essentially look at their screen to get more information on setup breaks, on pushes. So that's a great point, especially in Halo. I think it's a big deal to be on LAN and be able to look at your teammates' screens. It looks like we are getting into the game. The game is starting right now. Guys, thank you once again for being patient and sticking with us here. As you can see, we're going back to Stronghold's live fire. And of course, like I said, New Haven is going to be up 104 to 55. So we'll play differential on that, of course. And we'll see, the players know exactly when they're going to end the match when they achieve that victory. So we'll probably see the match being ended. Hopefully no more issues coming forward here. But that top tower, saw how strong it was in that first series. We're going to probably see a little bit of that again. Of course, the OS right below us there on the camera and the bottom center where you saw that Spartan. That's the heat wave. Here we go. We're getting started. Winners bracket round number 2. It's going to be the University of New Haven versus Boise State.
All right, you can tell we've already got the mouse and keyboard players on screen. That quick movement and the quick snaps that you're able to do on mouse and keyboard make it fun to play. Even if you're a controller player main, it's nice to be able to switch it up and jump on the mouse and keyboard for a little while to kind of see where you stand and get some additional shots there. Definitely a much different kind of game than what you have in a lot of the titles. Especially as a mouse and keyboard player, like we talked about, much longer time to kill or TTKs, a lot more action, and of course not being round-based, you're constantly coming off respawn, getting right back into the action.
Right. You know, I'm also really curious to see how the mouse and keyboard players do in a game like Halo. Considering that I've only played mouse and keyboard my whole life, it's interesting to see how the mouse and keyboard players will do without a controller.
Yeah, I mean, controller has always been the just basically the standard for Halo in every Halo title, and finally they ended up releasing Master Chief Collection, which is just a collection of all the older Halo titles, and that was the first time we saw mouse and keyboard on Halo. And then of course with Halo Infinite, they're really striving to make it balanced or as balanced as possible. So we'll see if they're able to continue to do that as time goes on. You can see a very close game thus far. It looks like Boise State is going to have a 2-cap scenario, which means some more time on the board for them. They've got control of A, but they are losing control of B. So as you can see, no one gaining points at this time because B is being contested. No one gaining points, but you see the rotation. Boise State going to go ahead and get C, which means now once again they're starting to put points on the board. But there is that dreaded 3-cap situation, and a great observer camera right there. It looks like University of New Haven is going to steal that OS away.
And that was a absolutely amazing or instrumental play for New Haven to actually take down that overshield. You have CNRL with 5 kills already here for a squad, leading the pack. You had Boise State about to get a triple capture. They were killing 2 players over towards B. That OS was coming up. I definitely thought that was going to change hands, but some clutch plays out of New Haven actually secure themselves the overshield, gets a couple additional captures on the board here, and it's keeping them in this game.
Yeah, some of the strongholds have also changed. UNH getting control of B and C.
Yeah, they get control of B and C, which is also a favorable hold. You want to make sure at least that you have B. Sometimes you can do an AC setup, but that's essentially off of a rotation potentially. As you can see right now, Boise State going to go for that AC setup, but they've got to rotate towards B quickly. And that sniper is going to be up here. So once again, the sniper going to be in the hands of CNRL, I believe, and he's having a very solid game at 6-4.
Yeah, and you can see with this, like you pointed out, active, the ANC right now currently over in favor of University of New Haven. With this map in particular, like we said, it's not like that large of a map, although at times it can feel. Depending on what you hold, you can make the map feel very small and definitely coordinate spawns for your enemy or even for your teammates at times. You can have any different setup that ultimately works. I would say the most common one is probably a CB type setup. A lot of that comes down to respawns and rotations. You can have AC, things like that as well. All of them can definitely work out, just depends on how you play the situation as a team. The biggest question for strongholds all the time when you're playing this is obviously like which power-ups and power weapons are coming up as we see that OS grab here on your screen. But is it, do we contest this hill or do we rotate to another one? And that's kind of what you got to constantly be asking yourself as you're playing. As we're losing A, are we going to fly over to A and fight that, or are we just going to leave them in A? We know there's a guy there and go over and try to secure ourselves B. So it's constantly a rotational game or rotate or contest kind of scenario.
Right, and I know that earlier we were talking about the sniper tower. You said it was in the middle of the map, and do you think that players will also be looking to contest this tower so that they can use it for their snipers?
Yeah, you definitely, controlling the tower is definitely one of the most powerful positions on the map, but if they have A and B and you're sitting top tower and staying there, a lot of times you can be out of the play. So it's not something you'll be able to control necessarily the entire game unless you have one of those other strongholds, and you're kind of forcing the enemy team to come to you. But if they play their cards right and get A-B, they can leave you at tower and not have to contest.
Right.
That's a really good point. That basically just stems off the spawn system, right? Like, if let's say you do have A and B, but you have a team member on tower, they could potentially spawn on overshield side, which is completely out of the play, but they've got a straight route to A. But as you can see here, of course, Boise State going to take the lead momentarily. It looks like 88 and counting to 63. 2 of the University of New Haven players go down. So that'll be a little bit more time on the board. With this overshield coming up very shortly, I'm going to look for, University of New Haven to potentially try and get control of that. I think that'll be a good tipping point for them to push and potentially contest one of these hills.
And, to point out Boise State, you have True Mortar over here at 16-5 as he gets taken down and they lose the B stronghold here. So True Mortar definitely kind of standing out here in this lobby, heavily slaying the opposition.
Yeah, in this game, I would say in comparison to the last game that we watched, the kills are definitely a lot more even across the board between the two competitors.
I 100% agree. And the cool thing is True Mortar, apparently, you know, when I was in the University of Kentucky Twitch chat, people were saying that True Mortar is an incredible mouse and keyboard player. So we're seeing that right now. I'd love to hop on board with him if we can, just to kind of take a look at his playstyle. But it looks like we are on board with Asteria, who has the sniper in hand. So this is definitely a more interesting point of view as of right now. It looks like they have A, and they're going towards B to get control of that. 3 down for University of New Haven right off the bat here. They're going to get spawns on that C side. Actually, they're going to get spawns on that A side, so potentially contesting that, and they finally take control of it as well. And as you can see, some great defense on A. University of New Haven is going to be 1 down. It's a 3v3 situation.
Great pickup here in the garage area as Snipers does get taken out as well. 3 dead momentarily for Boise State, but it is New Haven that is capturing points here. Looks like they're looking to flip A, so that might be an A-B setup that they're looking for here. But you can tell New Haven, they're not looking to let this B hill go too easily. Great snipe comes out of Asteria, and a reset on the hill to buy themselves some additional time here. And as we say that, Boise State, they're starting to capture. Last player alive for New Haven is in the hill with that repulsor. You can see the player just going up and down. Great grenade comes out to finish the kill from CNRL. And just as we say that, that is now True Mortar 19-8. They've got 2 captures in their favor once again. And this game is essentially tied neck and neck, although there is the replay factor that we had before. So a game, there will be a slight point differential here factor in play.
There definitely will be, and it looks like that overshield will be taken once again by New Haven. They can utilize this to potentially start to catch up here because Boise State is starting to things are starting to get out of hand for them. They're about to reach 150 seconds of time. They've got to shut down True Mortar. He is absolutely destroying in this game, as well as Asteria. But all 4 dead for Boise State right there. That's going to be big. They end up getting B. They have C set up as well. Looking for the spawns on A now.
And they can tell players are coming off spawn over here towards dummies and back tower. They're trying to keep C, but wisely elect to just back down there and flip the stronghold for A. So that's one of those rotate or contest situations. And they wisely back down and just play for the rotate.
You know, a lot of the teams, they've been fighting over control of B. Would you say that control of the B stronghold is really important for also contesting A and C?
Yeah.
It definitely can't be. It's one of those tough scenarios where, like I said, you can make anything work. The game's still definitely evolving as well for the different playstyles that you're seeing. You know, there's 3 strongholds on all the different stronghold maps, but they can all be used as long as you play the situation correctly or play it along to kind of like what situation you have. B is great to hold. It's a super hard stronghold to kind of push into if you have players controlling that area. But at the same time, if you have 2 or 3 players sitting back B, just kind of trying to hold that stronghold, and the team elects to rotate away from B, you know, you can definitely become trapped there and, you know, essentially secure your death and being forced to push out. So it's not that it has to be controlled, but it's definitely one that fits well into just rotations. It's one that's very popular for spawn points. If no one's in that location, generally someone will spawn there, and a lot of times the first decision, if you spawn next to a stronghold that you don't have, will be to jump in there real quick.
CNRL has been discussing with the sniper thus far. 173 and counting. It looks like they're going to have a double cap on the board right now. Potentially almost passing that 200 mark. And honestly, New Haven, I believe it was, had 104 seconds here. So they're very close to potentially winning this game if my math is correct. They have to get these captures, and it just looks like Boise State is really starting to step up their game. Look at that. That was a beautiful, flick right there to change targets, to clean up that target that was weak on the pillar side. A triple cap potentially coming through, and it looks like I'm getting word that we might be going to a full reset here. So if that's the case, we're going to 250 points for each squad, and it looks like Boise State is going to have the edge on that one as they're approaching potentially 200 seconds.
And True Mortar just flying away with this game, locking down C Stronghold almost all by himself. He grabs himself one, make that 2 kills with the AR now. He was out of sniper rifle ammo, but put that to use very well. Plus 17 as far as his KD here in this scenario. And you can see they've got the AB Strongholds. They forced all 4 players of New Haven over to C to try to lock that down. They are flanking over into A, doing what they can to get these points on the board, but 227 to 145. This is a very healthy lead now for Boise State as we go into the final stretch.
Yeah, it definitely seems like True Mortar is on the path to getting those 30 kills.
Yeah, 28 kills is incredible when you look at the entire grand scheme of things here. Like I said, on mouse and keyboard, which makes me very happy. 227 to 169 thus far. University of New Haven trying to make a comeback, but that A is being taken. That's a huge kill and a reset right there by CNRL. And now he's going to push up aggressively. That sniper coming up. This could be a big contention point on the top center of the map.
And also want to show some love to reality here from Boise State as well. He's 21 and 15, but he has 18 assists on his team. And assists in Halo Infinite, you know, aren't quite as common as maybe some of the older previous Halos as well. So having that many assists in a game like this is definitely very impressive.
What counts as an assist in a game like Halo?
So I think it's at least 2 shots onto a player, so basically doing around half of their health. Although there's a lot of other factors that kind of play into the scenario. If they don't if the enemy doesn't get taken out quickly enough before their shields start recharging or something like that, it might not count as assist. In order to really kind of evaluate the end of a game, you know, stats only mean so much, especially in Halo. A lot of times it might be one person getting a kill or getting the kills, but it's another player that's really doing most of the work here, but it might not reflect on the score page here. So luckily for Halo Infinite, we do have improved stat pages. We have, you know, not only kills as assists, but damage dealt, damage taken, and things like that, which will definitely paint a better picture of what a game might look like here. But assists and kill participation is always super important to look at. And so while True Mortar is 31 and 9 there, he's, you know, at 40 overall in the participation. You've actually got 42 out of reality, so he's definitely right up there doing work as well.
Right at the last second, New Haven get in the B hill, and honestly, Boise State is at 2. I believe that says 248, so that means only 2 more points, and they will win this. And as you can see, they get the 2 caps necessary. A will be taken back for Boise State. But still, University of New Haven is starting to rack up that time, and they're starting to catch up to this lead. Really good hold by them. Can they close it out?
This is a scary moment here. You can see they're not going to go B. They know there's 2 players over there, but they've got to get into C. This is their last push. If they go all die here, this game will be over, and New Haven will steal this one away. They do grab the 2 strongholds with 2 dead now for New Haven, and they have somebody in C contesting it, but they're trying to flip B. But as you can see on the score, A's also being flipped right now, so they got to keep moving here. They're down in numbers. They lost that overshield, and unless a miracle happens here, it's actually going to be New Haven coming away with this one.
Yeah, they take C as well, so C is going to be taken there. B is being contested. Once again, we got 249 to 247. It's going to be 247 to 249. Still B, still being contested. This is the middle point right now. They've got to get this kill. They do. 248, 249, and oh my goodness, they get in the hill. It's 249 to 249. I've never seen a game like this in my entire life, and there it is. I'm not exactly sure who closed it out. It was the University of New Haven by 1 point. We're talking about a nasty contestation there at the very end. An insane beatdown kill to close that one out. That is the closest game of Strongholds I have ever casted in my time on Halo Infinite. I'm not even going to lie to you.
I mean, that was down to the wire. The amount of hills that were contested, the back and forth action that we had. Hills constantly flipping as teams are rotating around coming off spawn. That map could have been over with several different times before that, but that one came right down to the wire. And you had Boise State heavily outslaying New Haven in that game, so it kind of comes down to the objective efficiency and other things that we've talked about in the past, being heavily outslayed but still being able to come away with a win is going to be huge for their confidence and momentum going forward.
I'm just really happy we went to a full reset there. I mean, that was an insanely close game. We're talking about, so we talked about this, you know, when they're standing up, when you have both teams standing on B, it's essentially, you know, it's essentially a neutral hill. So no one's getting points at that time. I don't know who it was, but someone got a very crucial beatdown kill on that person in hill from New Haven. They end up closing it out there 250 to 249. If that is a testament of what this series is going to look like, I'm very excited. We're going to Aquarius Slayer for game number 2, and a much different series than we saw in that winners bracket round number 1. These teams are very close in terms of skill level.
No, that was a very entertaining match to watch. Like we said, the Slay's definitely going to point a little bit more in favor of Boise State, or a team that is less objective efficient, but definitely capable of outslaying their opponent. So, you know, like I said, they'll probably be looking to have that one back. Just a few minor things go differently that, you know, we may be looking at an entirely different outcome of that game number 1 here. So if New Haven's able to come out and take this game and get a 2-0 lead, you know, that's going to speak wonders here to what they're able to do in this tournament overall.
Yeah, and it's honestly got to affect the mental, right? When you lose by 1 point like that, it can be a little bit frustrating. You're going through that entire matchup, only losing by 1 point. On this Aquarius map, we've got the camo now to deal with, not the overshield. So now we got the camo, makes you invisible. We've got the heat wave as well. That's going to be at the bottom of P. We'll talk about where that is coming up. But then we've got the shot grenades. Now, these grenades, I don't think we've seen thus far. Essentially, grenades that we talked about the Disruptor Wemboba before. You know, the Disruptor, kind of like that electricity gun. Well, essentially, the shot grenades are just these huge grenades that just electrocute everyone in their path. So they are very strong, and I can definitely tell you that these teams will go for control of that. That'll be on car side, which is the opposite side of P. But we'll talk about that. Now, when it comes to spawns on this map, we talk about static spawns, and we talked about, you know, on Empyrean, that map we watched earlier on Team Slayer, the spawns are static. So you always spawn in one area. On Aquarius, the spawns are dynamic. So depending on where people are placed on the map is depending on where the spawns will happen. And like Elamite had said a little bit earlier, there is a ton of factors that influence spawns, but essentially it just gives you the safest point on the map at a very basic level, the safest point on the map for you to spawn at.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so basically what Tim is saying on this one is, yeah, you can spawn anywhere. Even though you start off at blue base, if you all push out of blue base and kill the enemy team, they may spawn up right behind you at that base as well. Of course, this map also features the Heat Wave, extremely powerful weapon. You can see this game definitely flows a lot through this as well. Camo is being grabbed top middle. A great job by New Haven actually to secure that. They had 3 players top center to make sure they're able to get away with that and live. And this is a nice early start, picking up where they left off in game number 1. A 5-kill lead already here for New Haven.
5 kills is a very good lead. We'll see if they're able to continue that. The Heat Wave coming into play once again, 7-1. True Mortar, the only person with a kill on the side of Boise State. And control this P side, in my opinion, is very strong here. They get the 4 spawns at that fridge, at Yellow Fridge. And I think, honestly, University of New Haven's doing a really good job controlling these power-ups. I mean, they did it in that last game as well. They had majority of the overshield control, and they're starting off this game controlling that camo.
Oh, that was absolutely incredible Heat Wave usage from the player P2. He knew there was a player trapped in fridge. He shot 3 or 4 shots, just kind of lining up exactly where he wanted to bounce that Heat Wave shot. And you could see the hit markers popping up on his screen. So he knew he was hitting that player hiding in the fridge. 3-4 shots later, he actually secured the kill from behind, you know, on a player hiding behind a wall, ricocheting those bullets off to secure that, being in a completely safe position, taking that player out of the play. Great heads-up play and weapon usage here coming out of New Haven still.
That was a really interesting use of the gun, because I'm not very familiar with guns that have different usages that can just bounce off like that. Do you think that the usage of these guns, because they're made available for this map, do you think that people will adjust a lot of their play style to fit with the types of guns that are spawned, or do you think that it doesn't have as much of an impact on the map as you think?
You definitely have to adjust and play around the different weapons. Like, a lot of this game definitely flows through heat wave, but then the thrust and camo, those are the major things. That, and of course dynamo grenades as well. So thrust will spawn 1 minute from when you grab them. The heat wave mechanic has changed a little bit to where I brought this up earlier in the broadcast. It's a red stacked weapon, so there's only going to be one of them on the map at a time. If somebody uses it all and it runs out of ammo, it's going to be a minute before it respawns after that as well. So you definitely want to look to see which teams can kind of keep that in mind and make sure they control that weapon for the majority of the game. Those dino or shock grenades that we were talking about before spawn every 30 seconds. So you can see teams definitely playing through and trying to use those weapons efficiently, or constantly even, if you're able to get a lot of them. That was one you just saw go flying across your screen. But yeah, you definitely will see teams try to play or adjust their style to fit what advantages they may have on the map, what positions they may be holding. That heat wave shot was extremely high level. Bouncing heat wave shots is something people do. You will see it at the pro level. But you don't get a lot of time to normally like line up a shot or have somebody trapped in the wall there, kind of sitting still for you to get that opportunity. So to actually see a player use that perfectly, I'd say was definitely very impressive.
We're seeing Boise State have a little bit of a comeback here, 16-20, only a 4-kill lead for University of New Haven. We're going to continue to watch to see if they're able to come back here. Asteria with some beautiful shots right there, stays alive as well, but that's going to be 3 dead for the University of New Haven. So CNRL, the last player alive, and as you can see, he has the camo in hand. He's going to play really aggressively here. Not a good play because that camo's value is going to be null and void, and because of that, both teams are going to go 2 down, and only a 3-kill lead now for the University of New Haven.
Yeah, definitely neck and neck again. You can see both of these teams are fairly evenly matched. I mean, if the 250-249 doesn't tell you everything you need to know already, kind of just show the level of skill and the competitiveness amongst these two squads. True Mortar sitting at 8-7 this round here at CNRL at 8-8. So you're not having any of the players kind of put up these monstrous stats that we saw from them in that game number 1.
And I know that earlier we were also talking about the mental effect that it would have to win by 1 point or lose by 1 point. So I'm sure that we're also seeing that in this game here, where it's such a close game and both teams have to really focus to see that point difference.
Yeah, we've got definitely an even matchup here, and that mental, definitely like will carry itself into the very beginning of the next game. But I think at this point now, these guys are in a flow stage, 29-28. We've got a very close game on our hands. It's going to come down to this top center control, and right now you see on your screen it's going to be CNRL. He's got control of the blue base, and he's playing really slow. Can he get this win? Unfortunately, he's going to get traded out. That's called a bait and switch. We call those trades in Valorant, but in this game, they're bait and switch. The bait and switch is so very powerful to essentially get into a fight, bait someone into a 1v1, and then switch out with your teammate so that you stay alive and your teammate gets that kill.
Yeah, 30-30. If this comes down to a 50-49 right after we saw a 250-249, that is going to be one of the closest series we've ever had on record, essentially. I mean, this is neck and neck as it comes here. And a lot of the different Slayers, you may have close games, but 50-49 Aquarius games probably aren't that too common either. Generally, with the way the map's set up, you're able to spawn trap teams a lot in these scenarios here. So at one point or another, one team may get the camo, get the weapons, those thrusts, and really start to pull away or build a lead here. It's not really what we're seeing currently in this game. And, I think even though we saw a different kind of number of slays going over to Boise State in that game number 1, this New Haven squad works really well together. It's got great chemistry and knows how to put together a win.
Yeah, it's also just really interesting to see how the teams are adjusting to the different objectives that the game has. Like for the last game, they had Stronghold, and now it's more just trying to rack up kills.
Yeah, essentially, right? It's just it's much easier in a Slayer. In fact, Elamite talks about chemistry, and I think when you're a team with not a lot of chemistry, Slayers kind of benefit you a little bit more because you've only got one thing to focus on. Whereas in an objective game like Strongholds, like we previously saw, these teams have the objective to worry about. They've got also the kills to worry about as well. So 43-38 right away. New Haven has a little bit of a lead. They're trying to minimize that, though. You see on your screen, it's going to be Mortar. He's the one that popped off last game, and already in this game, he's starting to come into his own. 40-43, starting to get the kills that matter the most. And now, on board with FPS Carrito, 12-10 in this game. Very, very honorable kill-death ratio, and he's going to continue to try and push that forward.
Yeah, you can see New Haven is up by 3 kills. It was up by 4 a moment ago before that true Mortar double kill. They're trying to close this gap. They've got a lot of the players here trapped in the utility and towards blue base as well. You can see them running away, no shields, just trying to extend their life as long as possible here. But 44-42 now. Like we said, this may be looking like one of those 50-49 games.
This definitely looks like an exciting game, considering how close the scores are going to be.
44-45. True Mortar on your screen right now. What he just did was he strong-sided, put his head down so that the head hitbox is smaller. He's going to go down anyway, though. 47-48, make that to 45. 2 down for Boise. It looks like New Haven has that top P control, so it's a 2-kill game. New Haven having the top P control. They've just got to stay alive on the fridge side. It looks like 49-46. They're trying to end this right now.
Yeah, you can see no room for error at this point here. They need 3 for Boise State, but only 1 for New Haven to go and take a 2-0 lead in this series. Most of Boise State is all trapped over here towards blue base, so they need to try to get a little bit more map control here. But they have to be just so careful because they cannot risk any kind of cross-map grenades or any kind of double teams coming into this play here. 49-48, there was another kill grab as CNRL goes down. But there's so many grenades around the map. 49-49, 3 players trapped, and just like that, oh my goodness.
What is this? Are you kidding me?
We called it. 250-249, followed by a 50-49. Oh,
are you kidding me? All right, Wembo, but just so you understand, this is the closest Halo I have ever seen in the history of Halo Infinite. I would even say Halo in general, like 2 game types going by 1 point. That is absolutely insane. 50-49, the series tied up 1-1. Wow, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. A shout out to Gen G Esports for allowing us to do this. I wouldn't have witnessed this if it wasn't for them. So thank you. And of course, all our partners. Game number 3. It's going to be King of the Hill on Recharge. Kyle, tell me a little bit about this game type and map combination. To be honest with you, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, Recharge is a really fun one to play. Of course, based on the weapons, power-ups, and just overall map layout. King of the Hill is definitely a lot different than any other King of the Hills that we've had in the past or that we've even seen in a lot of other game types. Every single hill in King of the Hill is an all-or-nothing scenario. You don't get any reward or any points for getting 99% of the way captured. The map itself has lots of open lines of sights. You're able to get shots on people from almost anywhere you are. It's very difficult to push and break setups on this map because of all those lines of sight that we discussed.
Yep.
So this one, predictions-wise, I have no idea how this would go. You could just flip a coin at this point, considering what we've seen here. So both these teams, you're definitely feeling the pressure here. Still anybody's series. It turns into a best-of-3 here from here on out. So we've seen who took the objective, who took the Slayer, but even then, like, it's coming down to those very last-second minute plays who wins the series.
If you're in the Lexington area, like, get over there, okay? You literally have a chance today and tomorrow, and I can imagine. I've been a part of many venues in my time, and I can imagine the energy in that venue right there. But here we go. It's going to be King of the Hill on Recharge, getting right into the next game. These have been some of the closest games I have ever casted in my time on Halo Infinite, so I'm very excited to see how this one will go. Of course, you've got the hills, and of course, like Elamite said, I want to make clear, even if you get 99% of the hill, 99% of the bar charged up on that hill, If you don't finish it, you don't get the point. So, I mean, you know, this game could be very, very close still. But like Elamai had also said, the setups are very hard to break. So you'll see this very first hill. It is at the bottom center of the map. It's going to be very scrappy. But you'll see that next hill, hill number 2, that's where the setup comes into play. So the first team to have setup on that one is going to be in a good spot. And as you can see, Reality pops the camo, first camo on the board, and now some hill time for Boise State.
This is definitely a better opening here for Boise State than for New Haven. They were able to get sniper and camo, although that camo did not survive as long as they may have hoped. 2 go down for New Haven, though, so they should be able to milk some additional time here. As you can see, they've already got about 20% of the bar progressed. The bottom middle here, hill, definitely one of the harder ones to secure because it is such a scrap fest that you see. Teams constantly just flooding out trying to contest that hill. Yeah, 3 on the board for True Mortar. He's picking up right where he left off. Definitely somebody that would be considered one of the more main slayers of this team. Although he does get taken out, and that with him goes that shock rifle.
You know, this King of the Hill game mode, what do you think are some of the strategies that these different teams will use to try and get that control?
Yeah, so you definitely want to like lock down and control different setups. Spawning your teammates is a major element in King of the Hill in general. Depending on where the hill is, there's just easier areas to kind of like help look over your teammates and get those cross map shots on people. Also, because teams will be dying, like both members of both teams will be dying as they try to flood into and contest the hill, where you're standing so you can try to kind of coordinate where your teammates will spawn. It's also really big. You definitely, on a King of the Hill type game type, you don't want your teammates spawning, you know, in the furthest position away from the hill. You want to try to get one that they can easily get back engaged in the battle.
Right.
Yeah, one of the big things for me on this bottom center hill is taking control of that C-plat area. So if you look at the camo right here, it's on your right. That's where C-plat is located. This camo is going to be contested, though. It looks like New Haven might have that one. I don't know if it ended up surviving there. It looks like it is at the bottom of the map, but the kill comes through. That's a perfect. That means 4 perfect shots is going to get that kill. And now New Haven have to fight on their back foot. They're going to be spawning on A. And even though they got this hill to 75% of the way through, Boise State looking to close this first one out.
Yeah, I do not see how New Haven is going to stop that. But just as I say it, they've got good map coverage. A player from C, 2 players pushing it from A, and they will be able to go take him down. You can see just how close Boise State was to capping that, but it's going to be New Haven that sneaks away with the first hill. All that work for Boise State, a mute point at this time.
Yeah, one of the big things is this next hill here. It's going to be on the long haul side, which is on the left of this tower. You can see right on your screen, Mortar is starting to make his way. This is glass. That's another power position, but this is the long haul hill. So once you have control of this, if a team is able to set up perfectly, it is very difficult to break. But as you can see, True Mortar is actually off of his power position on the top of the map, and it looks like University of New Haven is starting to push through. Can they break the setup is the question.
Yeah, 2 players up here at that glass location. Great job actually dodging that plasma pistol shot coming in here from those players. Controlling glass is definitely huge, but both of those players do get taken out. So that long haul control is going to be back over to Boise State, who's about to even up the score 1-1 here. This is one of the hardest hills to actually break on this game type, just because there's really only at the smallest level, there's only 2 real ways to push in here, from long haul or from glass. There's 4 locations entirely, but they both kind of just feed off of each other. So this is a very tight-knit, like, you know, routes or hallways that you have to push in to try to break that. So just as we say it, that cap will go over to Boise State. They will tie this back up. Now that stronghold, though, or that hill, now flips to the other side of the map. So you saw a really good job by New Haven. Once they recognized they weren't going to be able to contest or capture that stronghold, just give it up, play towards A side of the hill where the hill's going to rotate, because you do know where the hills are rotating. It's on a set rotation. So they're wisely just back down and set up to try to play the new hill.
Yeah, and it's also really interesting where all the hills change. You know, you said that because the location is changing, the teams can have more flexibility in giving up perhaps another hill that they just can't contest, and they can rotate to the place that is going to spawn, which is really smart play from them.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very, very important to get those rotations off and just have that initial control of the new hill. It looks like for University of New Haven, they actually go 3 down momentarily, but some great trades come out. So this is going to be the a numbers advantage for them and a killing spree at Asteria. Right away coming out, he's got that Needler in hand as well, and he's getting some beautiful defensive kills on this hill. Can he stay alive? He gets that stick! Oh my goodness, beautiful stick by him. And it looks like Boise State trying to close this hill out. They're very close to doing so, but they go 3 dead.
Yeah, Boise State's in a prime position here to grab themselves another one and answer back in a strong way with 2 caps in a row. That was a phenomenal stake by Asteria, though, like you said. There were so many grenades blowing up in that 8th hill. He was just dodging them left and right. And essentially, he had no outs at that point, but still able to throw one of those plasmas and pick up an additional trade. It's doing wonders to them trying to maintain control.
And earlier we were also talking about how there's a lot of hallways and those kinds of entrances on this map, which I'm sure that would change the way that grenades sort of function and maybe just make it I guess in my head it makes it easier to hit the grenades just because you have all those long corridors. So I imagine that grenades will be very, very important for this map.
Yeah, there's no dynamos on this grenade like you see in some of the other ones. There's also no spikes, which are considered one of the other super strong grenades. So you're really only looking at plasmas and frag grenades. But yeah, both of the plasmas and frags are extremely powerful, especially if you're able to use a plasma grenade in such a way that you can stick someone before dying. You know, that's definitely like a game-changing play.
Yeah, one of the things we actually saw in the recent update is frag grenades were actually reduced or nerfed, I guess I could say, on the radius. So a little bit weaker than they were, but still very, very strong. You just have to be a little bit more precise with them. It looks like right here, a 1v1 coming out. It looks like both teams are going to be pretty much even in terms of numbers. But as I say that, Corrido with a beautiful kill is going to set up some control with 2 caps on the board for University of New Haven. They're looking to get their 3rd right now, and we've got 3 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the game, so I would assume that they're not going to play for that, the slays and just, play down the time. There's too much time on the board for that to happen, but some great slays from Corrido doing a great job of controlling this bottom blue pipes hill and staying alive as well.
Yeah, very back and forth action here. You can see Boise State doing what they can to try to keep them out of the hill. They are further capped. However, like we said, it's all or nothing when it comes down to these type of King of the Hill games. You have New Haven trying to build upon this lead, get up to the 3 caps, but with so much time left to play on the board, we may be looking at all strongholds captured or used in this game here. Both teams have been extremely efficient at just both having somebody in the hill at all times. You see Boise State, they have taken a little bit of a lead there on that hill capture, but you've got the rest of the players here from New Haven just looking to try to keep them out to extend the time here. They have the lead currently in the game, so if they lose this stronghold, it will just go ahead and tie things up. The following stronghold will move again back over to Turbine at this point. So you'll see if one team elects that they're not going to be able to secure this stronghold until, once again, like we talked about, set up for the new one.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
I was just going to say that I'm really excited to see how close this game is going to be between these 2 teams, especially just because they've had such close last 2 games.
I mean, yeah, it's really crazy because, like I said, like in my time casting Halo, I have not seen anything this close. And once again, we tie it up. Boise State puts one on the board, 2-2 now. The scoreline. New Haven has to answer back here, but we're seeing a little bit of the assist column we talked about before. Is it Vagar? He's 6'10 and 14, so he's got 10 assists on the board, but the True Mortar 18 and 13 with 11 assists. So definitely trying to do the work on his side. On the other end of things, the University of New Haven, everyone's pretty much even across the board here in terms of kills and deaths. Everyone kind of doing their job, and 39 assists for that squad. So that's a squad that you can tell University of New Haven has that chemistry down, and they're being involved in all of the fights.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty even slays across the board here, but assists definitely in favor of New Haven. So that's what's going for them well. It's just their overall teamwork here. Reality, he's sitting at 23 kills, so leading the game overall, even past Mortar here. in this game number 3 here. It's tied 2-2 Boise State, though. They're already halfway captured into this new stronghold, so you really need to see New Haven lock down A control here and just keep Boise State from being able to push.
Great job, honestly, by Reality in this game, and a great job overall controlling that A side. So the elevator spawns are actually behind this hill, and what you want to do on this hill it looks like Snipers is going to grab that camo, which is huge. He picks it up. He's going to be able to utilize that to potentially hold this hill. But, on this hill on Needler side, which is, in that turbine in the middle, you want to control A. So you want to control that section of the map. It's called Elevator. You keep control of that. You can force your team to spawn there. So if you guys end up going down as you're taking this hill, you can spawn them up over there. A big kill by CNRL. He gets the kill on the hill player, but 2 go down for University of New Haven. And honestly, this looks like a closeout right now. 3 caps on the board for Boise State. They take the lead.
Yeah, you can see 3-2 lead now. Next stronghold for Boise State will win. Next capture for New Haven will just go ahead and tie up the series. Based on overtime rules, if they're tied at the end of the game, though, they'll go into a replay and play first 2 strongholds to win. If I'm not mistaken, based on the new rules and updates here. So minute 44 left to play on the clock, which is a lot of time in a King of the Hill, mainly because the hill freezes, or the game clock time freezes when someone is in control of that hill. So you'll definitely see at least one more capture happen here in this scenario. It is back to bottom middle. See if they're able to do or secure this in any way. The lead for Boise State. Reality sitting now at 27. CNRL, he's been doing what he's been doing all series, and a solid 23 with 13 assists on his squad as well. And this is one of those bottom middle hills where it's just constant back and forth action, and it's 3-2, so the score obviously is very close, but it still doesn't do it justice for how close each one of these strongholds in particular have been.
Right. Do you think that both these teams, you said that they might go into a tiebreaker, correct?
Well, I mean, I think the lead's looking towards Boise State here, being up 3-2 and kind of winning this hill for the time being. But yeah, I mean, if New Haven's able to clutch us up, grab camo like they're doing right now, they could look to send this into an overtime.
Potentially an overtime is what we'll see. 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining on the board. Some big kills here, and I gotta say, I love how Halo Infinite looks on land. It's so very crispy. These players are hitting some phenomenal shots. It looks like Boise State gonna have control of the hill momentarily. Some spawns will come out on the pipe side, I believe that is, and a split spawn on A. So this is where, this New Haven squad has to pay attention to potentially, where they're spawning and make sure that they're pinching correctly. 1 minute left is all they've got. They've got to bring this back right now. If the time goes out, which it looks like, Boise State is starting to slay them here, slay them out of hill, Boise State will come out with a victory, but it looks like Boise State just wants to close it out, and they're about to get this 4th and final hill.
Yeah, 4 down here for New Haven is going to be all she wrote here for this game number 3. 4-2 win now for Boise State. Largest victory that we've had of the series so far, but it doesn't really do justice to compare how close that really was, because 3, if not all 4 of those hills from Boise State had at least 50% progression, if not all the way up towards like 80-90% progression here from the opposing team. So every one of those strongholds coming down to the wire, a 4-2 win to take the series lead. And keep in mind, that could have been a 3-0 scenario for Boise State had they not lost that first game. And the flip side of that as well, 1 kill determines a 2-0 lead for New Haven, as in the series also. So crazy back and forth series. Really excited to see how this game 4 plays out, or if we may even see a game 5 between these two teams.
Oh, game 5s are my absolute favorite. We're going to CTF on Argyle coming up next, and this is one of those maps where it's a new addition to Season 2. We've got 2 snipers on the map to work with, so we'll see those individual snipe battles, or those those 1v1 snipe battles across the map. We got camo at the top center of the map, and of course, we've got this pretty much this lift in your base where you can get the grapple. Lemboba, I don't think we've seen the grapple just yet. Have we seen the grapple? Have you seen the grapple just yet? I know it was on recharge, but I don't know if we were able to really catch that.
I don't think so. I don't think we've actually talked about it.
Yeah, so the grapple is one of the most interesting and fun equipment to use in the sandbox of Halo Infinite, and it's essentially you latch on. It's like Spider-Man. You latch onto something, you can take the momentum and have it send you large distances, and it's also useful to potentially be aggressive. It's useful to be, defensive and stay alive, but it's also useful to get equipment. So you'll see teams kind of using grapple to potentially get that camo up top center. I got to get your thoughts, of course, Elamite, as usual. What do you think about the map of Argyle? I'm sure you've got things to say, but you're going to probably keep it classy.
I actually don't mind Argyle too much. I think it's a good addition of a 2 sniper rifle map into the HCS play. It's a good size to the map in general, and definitely beats some of the other maps that we kind of had in the past here. Or it's almost got a similar feel to like a Catalyst, even though there's so many different variations here. It's got a lot of equipment, right? You've got Repulsor that spawns down bottom center. Each team has a grappler spawning in their base. Snipes are every 2 minutes on this map as well, along with that camo that's going to spawn top center. So as far as overall like CTF maps, I do enjoy Argyle. It's a fun one to play.
I love the 2 snipers on the map, and the long sight lines definitely bodes well for mouse and keyboard players, in my opinion. I think for me, it's just about, how long it really takes to get a cap. We'll probably see a very low number in terms of caps on this map, potentially a 1-1 or 1-0, even later on into the game. But we'll see how this pans out. I mean, Catalyst was like that as well when it first came out, and then teams started to get adjusted. So maybe this might be the start of that. But on board with Asteria as he pushes this red base, potentially being very aggressive here, but he's got to be careful he doesn't go down early.
Yeah, you can see the players fighting over that great top-middle presence here from Boise State. This is a map that can be very difficult to actually secure captures on. It's a very long route to move that flag across the map. And to have your teammates be able to continue slaying out while you're running that can, definitely be difficult at times. So it's generally not a map that you see all 5 captures happen on too much. Generally, it's the 1 or 2 flag caps that'll determine the winner of this game.
Right, and earlier we were talking about the 2 sniper towers, I believe is what it was.
Yep.
How do you think that'll change how the game is played in comparison to the last CTF that we watched?
So generally, when it comes to these snipes, they're pretty much, they're in a safe position. As you can see, it's on the right-hand side there, that little indicator, that's one of the snipe spawns, and the other one is on the opposite side of the map. There's so many, there's a lot less sight lines, I would say, from sniper to sniper here. Yeah, the snipers essentially have to go up to the top of the map. It looks like that first cap is potentially going to go in, but they've got to get a return first. They do, and there it is right away. It's going to be a lead for Boise State going into this game. And that camo coming up, this is going to be a high contestation point.
Yeah, you can see New Haven, they're definitely going to want to lock this down. They're going to need all the advantages they can get to get back into this game. Like we said, it's not many caps that generally determine the winner of this game. And so for Boise State to be up 2-1 in the series and to grab that first capture, they've got to be feeling pretty good.
They are definitely feeling good. Asteria is feeling incredible. Every time we watch Asteria, he's always getting the kills that are necessary to make the plays happen. That sniper is coming up as well, but 3 down for Boise State. With the sniper coming up, True Mortar is going to try and get control of this side of the map. I want to stay on board with him. He's got sniper. He's on mouse and keyboard. Said to be one of the better mouse and keyboard players in this tournament. We'll see what he can do.
He's playing very aggressive with that sniper as well. He hit the body shot, but not able to connect with the headshot to secure the trade. His teammate will pick up one of those. And just as we say that, actually, to pick up several of those and put 3 down now here for New Haven. They'll grab that sniper rifle back in their control and set up to start trying to try to recognize where these spawns are coming from, secure some additional kills. You can tell they're looking to get some more flag captures on the board.
Right, and it seems like, I'm not sure about how Halo sniper rifles work. How many shots does it take to kill with a sniper rifle?
1 shot to the head, 2 shots to the body will kill.
I see.
Yeah, so you got to be very accurate with those snipe shots. And of course, we talked about, the accuracy of M&K. True Mortar starting to pop off a little bit here. We're on board with him right now. He's got the sniper in hand. He's not able to hit the shot, but some great denial grenades. Gonna push back the enemy team. He gets the no-scope as well. Wants to get a second kill here. This player's going to be aggressive. He misses the shot. That was a great push right there. I don't know exactly who that was, but these 2 kills for both sides is very important. With this camo coming up, these teams have got to get control of top center. Camo and Snipe on the map right now.
Yeah, so with Argyle, these Camo and Snipes both spawn every 2 minutes, all at the same time as well. So there's a lot to play over every time that 2-minute clock hits here as well. I'm not sure who was able to get away, if they were able to burn Camo or not. But if one team's able to lock down both those sniper rifles, we see 2 go down for New Haven, so they're going to be in a tough spot right now as this collapse is starting to come in. They can just get trapped in their base.
So we talked about camo being burned. Camo being burned essentially is if you use the camo, but you die initially, so it means no one's got the camo in hand, no one's got control of it. That's essentially burning the camo. And I believe that was the case, as we do not see camo right there. But there it is, 2 dead for Boise State. A little bit of a push-up still, though. Even with 2 dead, being very aggressive. We see Vogger, 7 and 6 in this game thus far, trying to push up aggressively on the map. You can see a lot of New Haven is down on bottom center, but they're trying to get the kills necessary in order to push for this flag cap.
See a lot of action going on here. Unfortunately, CNRL does get taken out. They were on both sides of the map, Sniper and Elbow here, as they're trying to push into the flag, but they weren't able to get the kills that they wanted. And a lot of that comes down to, or it's very hard to collapse onto a base from different angles, where you might not have the same kind of reinforcements that you might need to survive here. So as we saw, it was a good push coming in from New Haven, but just not enough help on each side. They get taken out, not able to move that flag at all, and kind of stuck trying to back to the drawing board, figure out how they're going to get slays and get back into their base.
And in a game mode like this, I'm sure that they have to balance both their defense and offense so that their flag doesn't get taken, but they can also take the enemy's flag.
Oh, absolutely here. And then, of course, with Camo and Snipes coming up, you got to be really careful. It's a very wide open map, especially towards the center here. So you got to be really careful not to get sniped while you're moving that flag. And, of course, you let Grapple and Sniper go with how long it takes to move the map across the... or move the flag across the map. You see lots of counter cap opportunities as well. So one team may be running that flag, they had all the kills, they got the flag into their base, but they all die and end up not securing that capture. And in fact, the other team comes in with something like a camo run right here, which is what you're seeing. When a camo run differs from a regular flag run is it does not put the giant notification on the player's head that this is where the flag is. So it really makes the other team have to kind of guess where they're coming from.
You can see that very heavy flag right here as True Mortar tries to pull this through, but they do get the pull on the flag of Boise State, so they're going to have to get that return first. There's 2 players in position to do so right now, but Corrido's going to be all the way on the other side of the map with this flag, and because of that, Boise's going to have to go ahead and outslay once again. They get 2 dead, but will it be enough? They've got to get that return. It looks like it is a quarter of the way there. But another touch, what a touch does, when they touch that flag like that, it potentially resets the timer, but the timer is going down to 0, and there it is. Another cap on the board for Boise State. They're up 2-0.
And that's a heartbreaker for New Haven. They were so close. They were in such a bad position. They lost camo, but they were still, and their flag was being run across the map. They were able to get a pull, bring it all the way back to their own base, but they get nothing out of it. The flag gets returned. The second capture goes on the board for Boise State. And being down 2-1 in the series and now 2-0 in game number 4, this is when things start getting a little desperate.
Yeah, I feel like I was, it's just really unfortunate for New Haven considering how close the last 3 games were.
Yeah.
So definitely.
It's a big hit to the mental. It really is. Like when you're that close to winning a game and a game is separated by 1 kill or a 1 point of strongholds, it just makes it really difficult. And now your backs are against the wall. True Mortar's got the sniper. He's also going to try and push up here. Here's that run once again. I believe that was with camo, but it's not going to matter as they do stop that push. Great kill, though, by True Mortar. He gets that double as well with the no-scope. 19 and 8 out of this man, and he's not stopping. He tries to stay alive, but a crucial kill right there onto him is going to take him out.
Yeah, you can see all the players here from New Haven kind of flooding out the back of their base, but they're taking a lot of fire here from the Boise State players set up on their flag in top middle. This is one of those lines of sights that we talked about. Having that sniper rifle in your flag, you can see the entire middle of the map here, and just keep players from being able to push out here. As you can see, they just constantly keep getting picked off. 3 dead now. Snipers is the last guy alive in their base. They've got 2 snipers on the hands of Boise State just covering this flag runner. This is going to be, a tough position to try to break out of.
Yeah, and it looks like the center control area is being it's really hard to maintain control of it when it's so open.
Yeah.
But it's also so crucial.
Agreed. Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. That center map area, you can essentially utilize it to get that repulsor that spawns at the very bottom center. But being down there is very risky. As you can see right now, True Mortar at the bottom of the map is going to take a whole bunch of damage, which means he'll be out of the play for 5 seconds or so. And with some aggression on his base from Corrido, he's got to win this 1v1, and he does just that. Those are the 1v1s that are so crucial to be able to be in someone's base, get that 1v1 win, and now able to pull this flag because of it is huge. 2 down for University of New Haven, and they're trying to get potentially Boise trying to put a 3rd cap on the board. They're up 2-0, like Elamite had said, and they're up 2-1 in the series. So if they potentially win this one, they will close out the series in a 3-1 fashion.
And I like the strategy here from Boise State. So even though there's only 2 minutes left, they're still playing aggressive. They're still looking to put flag caps on the board. They're also not playing defensively too heavily in their base. They're allowing New Haven to get some of these flag pulls, but they're just pulling their own flag instead and playing for flag trade-offs. So in a flag trade-off scenario here, you got to be careful. You have to keep somebody with the flag because it'll automatically return on its own if you don't after a certain period of time. But you have to be aggressive enough to try to make sure you can secure your own flag return to actually get that cap. Only a minute 15 left here. This is a really tough spot to be in. You're going to have to see New Haven play extremely aggressive. They need to not only secure this return, keep the flag alive for the capture, but then grab another one before clock hits 0. Luckily for them, the overtime rules do benefit the team that's losing. If you're able to grab the flag with 1 second left, you can extend it into overtime and still run that across the map to capture. But if you're ever at any time you're not able to contest and be close enough to that flag, the game will go ahead and end.
1 kill on the board here for University of New Haven, but they end up going 2 down. And with 1 cap, they're going to have to pull this next one very quickly. 30 seconds is all they have. University of New Haven has to be aggressive on the base, and it looks like they are being aggressive here. 1 snipe goes in, tries to get that win. That's not going to be a win. 2 down for University of New Haven. That's essentially game over. Unless they can make it across the map in 20 seconds, which will be very difficult. It's up to Corrido at this point. His 3 teammates are dead. He's the last one alive. He goes down as well. 10 seconds is all that's left.
Yeah, and with 3 down, there is just nobody in position to grab this flag and send it into that overtime. And there you have it, Boise State. It was close. It wasn't pretty at times, but they do come out and get that win 3-1.
There it is, the series win by Boise. I mean, some of the closest Halo we've watched ever, and it was by Boise and New Haven. Of course, congratulations to them. This is a double elimination bracket, so we'll see New Haven go into the lower bracket here. Coming up shortly. Don't forget that this is only day number 1. We've got day number 1 for Halo. Valorant's coming up next. I believe it's at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're switching over to Valorant. And then, of course, tomorrow is the same thing. We're going to start with Halo early in the morning and then switch over to Valorant afterwards as well. So just a great event overall. I do want to give a shout out to Kinetic by Windstream, providing internet to everyone that is participating here. They're dedicated to investing and supporting and enabling our communities with reliable, fast internet. And let me tell you something, as a gamer myself, internet is very, very important. So of course, a shout out to Kinetic by Windstream for providing that great quick internet. We'll get you updated on exactly what's going to go on next here. But again, just a thank you to everyone who's involved at Gen G as well for providing this entertainment. I mean, I'm casting this, but it is entertaining for me as well. This has been such an incredible tournament thus far. And congratulations to Boise for that 3-0. Honestly, in a map like Argyle, we saw some faster play, Elamite. We saw some essentially, I think it only went to 2 caps, but very aggressive. very aggressive use of that camo. We see those camo runs that are starting to take precedent. Do you think, if we're just talking about camo runs, do you think that will be a big factor coming in Charlotte at HCS at the first event?
Yeah, I think you'll definitely see camo runs as a big factor in the future here as we go into some of these events. I think, for these teams, they were very much so playing aggressive, get the enemy team's pull, while you might see some other pro teams much more of a slow, steady, kind of coordinated push, get all four dead, keep all your teammates alive. And I think that might be like one of the reasons we saw so many flag pulls in these series be so close. But yeah, big props to both teams. Big congrats to Boise for the win. But New Haven put up an incredible fight and had an extremely entertaining series for us to watch today. So shout out to those guys as well.
Webbo, but before we get offline, do you have any closing statements for anybody? I know you're the student caster. You did an incredible job. Anything to say to the people before we go?
Come to Campus Takeover if you're in Lexington. It is super fun. There's a lot of fun opportunities. There's free food, and I know that's always a huge reason that people go to events. So there is free food. If you're in Lexington, definitely come check it out.
Awesome. Guys, this has been an incredible section thus far. This is only the Halo section. We will be back in 30 minutes. We're going to go offline, and we will return with some Valorant action coming up next. Thanks for watching.